Hold my breath.
Okay.
But you
That should work just fine-ish, if a bit janky for a bit.
Somebody jokingly said this is Microsoft getting retribution for Discord turning them down.
No. I said this is Discord getting retribution from turning down Microsoft.
So
Wow. Wait, why would Discord crash their own servers?
No, I'm saying
It's
Microsoft
not about the money.
Microsoft attacked.
Yeah,
Discord.
well, you said it. You said it in the wrong order.
sending a message.
Not sending messages, rather.
Wait, did Discord reject Microsoft's offer, or
I don't
the
know
other way
what
around?
happened.
Yeah, Discord rejected Microsoft's offer and said that they'd rather be a standalone company, like we suspected they would in the first place.
Microsoft was mad that Discord didn't sell.
Yeah, but you said Discord is getting retribution, is what you
No,
said.
I didn't
Those were
say
your
that.
exact words.
All right, let's settle down.
Anyway.
Anyway,
What's in the box?
the box had a gigantic. It wasn't a Kyber. It was a. Oh fuck.
Oh no, he can't remember.
No, I know what it was. I just don't remember the name of it. Because there's three types of dragon shards. There's Kyber dragon shards. That's the down below, the milky quartz sort of stuff. There's Eberron dragon shards. That's the purple stuff.
Purple stuff.
The purple ones, and then the rings of. Fuck! I should know this.
Loyalty?
Nope. Give me a second. It's just like a super big thing. Common magic items. Spell shard. Nope.
The dragon just told me that he.
Sybaris. The super gigantic one about the size of a pumpkin.
Dang.
Ooh.
Which is one of the big components Sigma needed to start up the gigantic Eldritch machine.
See, now I can't stop laughing because we could have grabbed that, but like I said, I failed my stealth. I think I rolled a 2 or something. I bombed that stealth roll.
No, it's fine. Honestly, as the big giant cleric in metal armor, you acted within our expectations.
Yeah, I know. Coming off a cobalt in heavy metal armor, I had a brand to represent. That's why every character I've made since then has been stealth based. Damn it.
Oh yeah, my dragon popped in to say that he was making us enchiladas, and now I'm excited.
Hell yeah. Also, Yark, if you remember this, but you remember that the tiny little pseudo dragon you bought?
Yes, I haven't forgotten about him.
All right,
It
good.
died.
All right,
Forgot to feed it.
It's gonna go commit suicide. BRB.
No.
It was just in a coma this whole time, choking.
We were playing in his dreamscape.
All right,
Dang,
well,
dude.
Time for me to enter my own coma.
But were we playing RuneScape
No,
in its Dreamscape?
Hey, it looks like
boy.
our the ZGS
Server's
servers
back up.
finally come back up.
Oh,
Still
You
hasn't
wanna
for
switch
me.
back?
no, not
Not
me.
for me.
Yeah, we'll
Alright.
stay here for the time being, but I was at least able to post that we're live.
You're alive.
Hey, it came back up for me now.
Let's wait a while longer. It's not back for me yet.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Give
We'll
it a
wait a
bit.
little longer before we jump in there.
It's not back on my phone app either, so.
Oh, hey, Zert.
Yep.
So, do you remember a while ago when I was talking about what character I wanted to play next?
Yes.
When I was deciding between either the the what's it called? Divine Soul Sorcerer that thinks the Dragonborn is a god, or the other one. Do you remember what the other one was? Wait, why am I saying this? I already told you what I'm playing next.
Yeah, you did.
God dang it! Never mind. Long story short, I'm playing a kobold that thinks he's a dragon.
Oh yeah.
Tiny, small dragon.
Hey, dragons aren't born big. And I'll be trying a whole lot harder to play it as a different personality than my other ones.
There you go.
I was gonna make a Cards Against Humanity joke. Cobalt has like infinite cards that just say Cobalt on them, and like every card against humanity question, he just inserts Cobalt into it.
You are correct.
Oh, so I've not been doing so great lately. I've kind of been in a depressed slump. So I decided to just binge watch a bunch of old movies from my childhood on my laptop while I'm bed. I'm currently going through the 1980s RoboCop series.
Radical.
That was my absolute adored movie of my childhood.
I love RoboCop. RoboCop, hands down, awesome.
RoboCop 3 was my favorite because it had the Japanese cyborg ninja in it, which RoboCop had a really hard time fighting.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. I haven't watched the classic movies in so long.
Okay, I can't add to this RoboCop conversation, but anyone play Overwatch? Because there's a tie-in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't watched. I haven't played Overwatch since Boycott Blizzard started.
All right. Well, Genji has a quote, a voice line for Halloween, and it says, "My Halloween costume, cyborg ninja." It made me think of that.
Although I did hear that Jeff Kaplan's leaving Blizzard.
Has left Blizzard.
Yeah.
Overwatch 2, nevermore.
So well, no, Overwatch 2 will still happen. It'll just probably be without his shady design choices.
Ooh.
Hey, what's up, guys? In this upcoming Overwatch update that we're looking forward to get out to you, we've removed all healers.
Welcome to the Overwatch patch update. This patch, we've removed Jeff Kaplan from the game.
Mm-hmm. Also, we've just removed Overwatch. Go away. We don't want you on our servers anymore.
Also, Symmetra runs
money
at
to keep
3,000% now.
Oh god, please give her gun more damage. She needs something.
I think this is the server up from everybody now.
Yeah, I'm in. We are all in.
Yeah, I can see the CGF server.
No, I mean like the Discord.
Oh, well. Yeah, it's a...
Yes.
What's up? You want to switch over?
Yeah, we can.
Depends if Surf, can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
All right.
Dreamless.
Seamless.
Let's see how we can all leave that group.
Maybe hold
It
on
is-
to the group for a moment in case.
No.
Let's just make a new one. With Blackjack.
Yeah.
Hey, Dova, I had back when we were playing Rooms of Reptiles. You know, we had like 4 different like mini disc conversation bubbles from the group from that entire campaign that I had to go through and leave.
I distinctly remember all of those ones. It happened like a week ago, like 2 weeks ago.
The Council of Murder was my favorite because I
yes.
put so much into that elaborate plan, and we ended up just becoming a spooky urban legend.
That's
Perfect.
legend. I loved it.
That dumb thing. I remember that.
I think I sent you to like mathematical things of bridge math and shit like that.
I think so.
And I
Knowledge.
had it all planned out what we were gonna do and all this possibilities. Like, oh no, we're just gonna spook them to death with invisibility and fly.
It was kind of random because like I got a Discord notification. Oh, what's this? It just says I go to this random server I completely forgot about. It just says Zarth has left the server to the group. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll leave too.
All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to the stream. I am Razim, and this is Echoes of Eberron Dungeons and Dragons for the last time. I will go ahead and turn it over now to Dova.
So, last session, you guys finished up a handful of loose ends. The main one being your groundskeeper and a handful of animal companions that were stolen from the manor by the Fury. Teleported to the realm of Mabar and ended up killing her. And then sealing her away with a powerful spell.
Yes.
And after teleporting back, you took a little while to rest, attended a wedding between the ghostly maid and the groundskeeper, and life seemed to go on. Everything quieted down. The city of Sharn was left to pick up the pieces. Whether or not you help them is up to you, as during that initial month you were hard at work preparing for your journey to a different realm. But continent of Corvair seems to settle back into its iffy truce. All the various nations calming down for a little while. As in the following months, quite a bit of research is done into the network of this gigantic arcane machinery that was built deep beneath Sharn. As the truth of the situation slowly comes out, that you were very, very close to world annihilation, basically. Statues are erected, various materials, bronze being the preeminent choice. It seems to work for detailed scales and fur quite well. Yeah, I think we'll just go around and we'll say exactly where your characters will be going in the following months, years, and possibly decades for those long-lived races among you. I think we'll start off nice and simple. We'll go to Yark.
Before we start, though,
Yeah.
we have some very special fan arts.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Power Stone.
Of course, we live in Power Stone.
I'm having a hard time understanding you, Yark.
Oh, shoot. How's that?
I'm doing just
Much
fine.
better.
I'm moving my mic a little closer.
Individual portraits, fantastic.
All of us.
Yes.
Oh man, it makes me so happy.
Very good. They're very good.
Fantastic.
Well, since we're starting with Yark, I guess I'll bring his up on stream now.
This is like even higher, almost as high as the privilege of being put on the refrigerator.
The great privilege of fridge magnet. The great.
How did you kick me from the server? You jerk. I needed that.
Who kicked you?
All right. Who kicked God from the universe?
I got kicked from the remote desktop.
It's not me. I'm in the thing. You can see.
Trying to connect.
I can't spell desktop, so.
Well, oh well, we're good. Yeah. Oh my! I spilled rice on my papers.
Your leaves.
Yep. And there's a nice little sauce. There's some yum sauce in it, so it's kind of soaked into the papers and left a nice little grease spot. That's cool.
That was tasty.
Yeah, it's a souvenir. Yeah, it's fantastic. Anyways, Yark. As everything calms down about a month after everything happens, after you return from a bar, your pseudo dragon, who you've been checking in with every day, finally opens its eyes.
Ah.
What was its name?
I know this. Did I name it?
I don't think.
No, I don't think so. I don't.
What was its color again? Wasn't it like
It
copper?
was it was tarnished copper, so kind of a greenish coppery color. Oh, I'm dropping stuff. Well, it's in here somewhere, right? Or it's not.
Sorry, give me a sec.
Did you throw it away?
You better not.
Yeah, it's I do not see it in your inventory. Oh well.
All right, sorry, I'm back.
No problem. But either way, it awakens as you add another little curious little thing to your little yeah. But what does the immediate and sort of moderate future hold for Yark? Renowned
well-
chef and now fully anointed dragon marked holder.
I know. Okay, so you said that they'd put our statues where we wanted to put them, or
They'd consulted you for a few of them, but the main one they would put in the University of Moorgrave, the large central grounds where there's a gigantic park up high in one of the large tower tops. It's a big flat park with verdant greenery and various alchemical plants growing amongst some of the more mundane offerings.
dude, that sounds prestigious.
Mm-hmm. Moorgrave
Very
University is the university.
Can I have like a smaller statue of me to put in front of my tavern?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can commission that if you like, but you can put a statue out there, easy peasy.
Sweet. So immediate future, I'm gonna be helping run the tavern because it's probably gonna start hopping.
Yeah, it kind of explodes a bit. It is the
not
place to
literally,
be.
Literally like
Well,
usual.
not literally explodes, figuratively.
Figurative
No,
explosion.
I'm sure there's probably been a few explosions in his workshop.
They been handled, and you can't prove that.
Well, you had that phase where you experimented with a still.
You know the color of the armor in Monster Hunter that changes color like every 5 seconds.
Yes.
The Yark just came out like that one day. Just its scales just kept changing color.
Yeah, just like slowly transition through the entire rainbow in a loop. My wine distillery didn't stay together very well.
No,
And it's still
Pressure
rude.
is
You
hard to
can't
keep.
prove it. You can't.
it's only a legend.
Old.
But I
Um,
believe you were doing something with the skeletons in the basement.
oh yeah, I was gonna turn that into like a little attraction.
Hmm. It's
Uh,
I suppose after a few years, maybe 10 or so years, it becomes a tradition for most any serious adventuring party to run down and go through the little dungeon you have in the basement.
I have.
Or Hmm?
I was gonna say I have safety waivers, of course.
Mhm. And you have a very strict deal with all the skeletons down there that they'll be allowed plenty of sleep and they'll be able to rough up the patrons should they go down there, rather.
I additionally won't.
Give them a run for their money.
I additionally won't smite them out of my property.
That too.
Pretty good deal.
Mhm. Every so often, somebody with divine magic comes through and accidentally permanently kills one of them. But Inun, successful as he is, always finds time to swing by for at least a little while to talk a bit and get his give the skeletons a little bit of animation back, pulling the souls back and putting them back in place with their agreement. That is.
I'm perfectly sure. I'm sure that he'd be perfectly fine doing that in exchange for some good drinks.
Oh, absolutely. What sort of specialty drinks do you put out? Because eventually, I assume you'd either get into winery or spirits.
Oh, of course. I have one drink named after each of us.
Ooh.
And
Well,
and
don't just stop there.
okay, well, the one I'm most excited about is Sinnoh. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know how alcohol works very well.
No, that's apt for you. That's
But it's like a lot of their fur colors, and each one has like its own little flair based on us. For instance, the Sinnoh drink has a little DeSoda shot to chase
oh,
it.
a DeSoda chaser. Oh,
Exactly.
Okay, so it's like maybe a whiskey for Sinnoh and Jagermeister for DeSoda.
Absolutely, that
I
makes
have
sense to me.
no idea what that means, but
Exactly.
That sounds
It's,
good.
You know
it's
what?
a-
If it
it's
sounds
a dark, it's like black licorice liquor. I haven't had it, but
I do
yeah,
like
I know what
black
it is.
licorice.
Tastes like black licorice.
Roslyn's is an all black drink, but it doesn't. What is it?
So maybe black currant vodka.
But it has a somewhat sweet foam on top that is infused with glittering dragon shard dust. Not enough to cause any adverse effects.
Just
But
just a little for decorations.
Oh,
Okay,
so not
For,
dusty
for like a
level.
little divine touch to it.
gotcha. And it's strong as hell, I imagine.
Absolutely, it will knock you out just like she would.
It'll knock you out just as hard as she, as a punch from her would.
What about Dusty's drink? What does he have?
Dusty, how about like a line of shots? I can call it-
Just
I
a
can
lot
co-
of small shots.
yeah, I can call it the Flurry of Blows. The Flurry of Blows.
There's
Each
gotta
one,
be there's a
one-
pun opportunity here. There's gotta be.
each one with a different flavor to it, but they're all brownish.
Mhm. Various whiskeys, bourbons, and
That love.
tequilas.
Zareth's is green, and I set the top on fire.
Ooh,
Ooh, indeed.
like a minty sort of thing. Ooh, what about just absinthe?
That would be Sirth.
Oh, there you go. If that
It
works.
burns.
Flammable
It
absinthe. There you
burns.
go.
I have no idea what that is.
I don't know either, but if they're excited about it, it makes it perfectly fine.
It's
French.
basically gasoline. It's basically.
French wormwood liquor
Don't eat
that
worm.
is renowned for supposed hallucinogenic properties that aren't actually real. That's why it gets banned all the time.
Perfect Earth drink.
Yeah.
Yark's just an alcoholic version of experimental potions.
Sorry?
Yark's is just alcoholic version of my experimental potions.
Gotcha. It does something different every time. It's a special.
I have no idea what it's going to be.
You might have to bring your mic closer to your mouth, by the way. It gets cutting out every so often.
Yark,
That works perfectly.
yeah, wow, I can't even... What? Hello?
I can't do it like that because it's hard to speak with the mic in my mouth.
Why
Fair
do
enough.
I want to keep playing with you people?
That's a great question. Tell us why. That's a good question. Tell us.
Snowball bike. I don't know why.
You invited me here.
Yeah.
Are there any big plans as far as where his business might be going?
Expansion.
Franchise?
Absolutely. Although this will be like the biggest main one of course.
Okay, this will be the original, and then the rest of them are not as well outfitted, rather.
But there, if you like this place, then it's a good way to get a taste of it abroad.
Gotcha. It's still just as good.
Exactly.
All right. Before the end of the decade, you've got at least one tavern, one restaurant hybrid in every major city on the continent. With
I believe they call that a bistro, or if you're including the beds, maybe a bed and breakfast, but also lunch and dinner.
or a tavern.
It's perfect.
I think
Why
that
didn't-
covers the name
why didn't
pretty
I-
well.
Why didn't I think of that?
And then, in addition to the one location in every major city, you've also got a smattering of smaller locations along all the major trade routes, serving hungry, tired travelers and spreading your name pretty much everywhere.
I kind of feel like some of the luxury seats on the lightning rail probably would have access to some of his stuff.
That is very true. With a little bit of work, you'll probably be able to get at least some of your food on most of the major lightning rail lines as well.
Ah, that sounds so
Serving
cool.
various little contracts and
I was about to say, don't forget to get onto that soda trend.
Oh yeah,
Works on-
that's my magnum opus. I'm working on that in secret.
yeah. I'd say by the time the decade is over, you've got something that you can probably start moving and getting around. What flavor is it in, though?
Cola. You always got to start with cola.
Start with cola, kobold cola, koboldla,
Cobalt cola is better, though.
kobold cola. All right. As
Made with 50% less cobalts.
now without alcohol.
yeah,
Ah,
as those various nicely shaped, I'm assuming glass bottles get they start to show up in all the various general stores, restaurants, cafes, traveling inns, especially, of course, the Kingly Kobold and all of its various locations.
Not
And
everyone can.
it's a bit it's an acquired taste for some. The fizziness kind of hurts people's tongues.
just like Yark. Just like...
It's explosion in your mouth.
Why would I want that?
It's...
But it wouldn't be an uncommon sight to have at least one of them in an adventurer's bag of holding at all times, just for how refreshing and
surprising it is.
yeah, like a treat. What's
Nice.
the price of a bottle if I go down to the general store and want to buy one?
They'll definitely start off a little expensive.
Okay,
because the
maybe
price takes to make it.
5 silver a pop.
But as they get more popular and as people start to like it more, it'll go down slowly.
Gotcha. And it'll stabilize and be a nice addition to any meal.
Exactly.
All right.
As for the distant future, I think once the taverns start to stabilize and he doesn't have to run them by hand anymore, he's definitely going to start going back to adventuring, just going out, finding new ingredients and new flavors to try out.
Does he bring anyone with?
Honestly, whoever wants to come along.
All right. As you find yourself on a handful of fun little adventures, dungeon delving into ruins that, while might have been a little bit concerning for you while you were a less powerful adventurer, are now a nice diversion and almost like a hobby for you. But it's through this dungeon delving that you start to uncover quite a few lucrative arcane secrets, as well as ones that are, well, plenty mind stimulating and satisfying just to find. And new flavors, of course, for your various drinks and restaurant dishes. Many of them having been extinct on the surface for hundreds of years.
Oh, and I do want to add, every once in a while he'll invite his good friend Adarex down for a big, full dragon-sized meal, just like he promised.
Yeah. And in some way, somehow, your accountant has managed to find out a way to make those meals tax deductible.
I never asked though. I don't talk to him.
He just does it in the background. He takes his pay and then he goes home. But he's good. So good that you forget his name sometimes.
Damn, he's good.
I don't try to remember.
Fair enough, because I forgot his name.
I feel like if I try to interact with this guy, I might end up
Audited.
hurting him. Gnomes are evil.
That's true. Scheming little boys. And girls.
You know how kobolds feel about gnomes, right?
I believe so.
Yep, I do.
Legend has it that the gnome god trapped the kobold god underneath a big pile of rocks, and now kobolds hate gnomes just as a species.
Wow. I did not know that.
It's the big lame-o. It's
It's more of a petty hate. Like, we're not trying to actively murder them, but we like seeing them suffer.
basically, wow, you're the actual worst.
It's
Basically.
gone.
Hide their shoes, spit in their milk. That kind of thing.
Dropped. There it is. We're gonna put that in the garbage. Real quick. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we move on? And at the end, we can all kind of add additional stuff that we forgot to get around to.
I think that's good.
It's good for now.
Entering, serving dragons who are probably actual dragons. It just feels right, you know.
You would find out that he is an actual dragon.
The best.
Mm-hmm. And Dragon Society is a little different than you thought it would be. With all that power and sort of longevity, you'd assume that they'd all kind of grow power hungry, but or kind of evil and sadistic and kind of something like that. But turns out, time kind of makes them go a little bit crazy.
Crazy posh.
That also, they have years to learn good manners and etiquette that just takes, honestly, days to do these small little things. Like dinner parties, they go on for weeks. And you get to attend one and you barely survive it just from the boredom of some of it. It eventually ramps up and gets kind of crazy and fun, but it was a absolute slog to actually get that far.
Ruling.
Mm-hmm. They're weird, they're crazy, and They don't really seem to talk to you about it, but you know you've heard that they might know exactly what's going to happen to the apocalypse or something. Something prophecy that nobody really understands.
Cool. Interesting. Very interesting.
Very cool.
All right.
More
How-
hors d'oeuvres, sir.
you're like struggling to stay awake as the appetizers round has been going for like 5 hours already. You're just like wobbling there. You hear somebody talk about like draconic prophecy, and you're like, yeah, wow, that's crazy. You've been there for 3 days already,
Yeah, these mini quiches, they just keep coming.
and just they never stop.
They're bigger than me, but they keep calling them mini quiches.
They're bigger than me, but they keep calling them mini. Wow, crazy.
So, Dusty,
Me.
what do the next 10 years hold for our favorite, very stable and happy young boy?
Oh, I was thinking you'd get to me later with what happened.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but sure.
So, through various means, which I will leave up to you, you would manage to get a certain somebody back. Although, a lot of their memory has a few holes in it.
Well, he'd spend a long time talking with him, and the first 5 years are great, getting them up to speed, like working together to like try and distinguish some sort of timeline. And since he was at the temple, he's probably the one that patched up Dusty's self-taught style during that last month.
Mm-hmm.
But they do go back home after like 2 years to check it out again and try to figure out everything that is now basically lost. But with some studying, Dusty seems a little different. But he's content to live the next 3 years with the Caymans and his friend. After that, though, he vanishes along with his notebook that he'd been putting together. But every now and then there seems to be reports of large incidents where something appears, but apart from the indigenous tribe that seemed worried and then confused about their duty being forcefully relieved from them, nothing seems to be going wrong. However, Dusty's friend may have some ideas about what his friend is up to now, and only seems very concerned but tight-lipped. Until one day he comes back and seems very, very different. He looks a bit larger and much stronger than he did before. But the most striking thing is how calm and tranquil he is now. And
sorry?
Yes.
Go ahead.
And he delivers a message to whom it may concern. There are only very few of you who will understand this, but perhaps my new message will reach those to whom will understand me. I've had a nice long talk with myself several years ago, with my friend's help, of course. Turns out the clans really were something special. And as ever, turns out the one who was bored of everything and left was their star child after all. Now that things have calmed down, the damage is done, and I have a font of knowledge, that deeper me, the one I've never met since one fateful incident where a village was stricken from the maps after an unfortunate fire. Nevertheless, he was ready to make himself known after I had an unfortunate bite. Now, as a microbat, we drink blood, but there's another aspect that I've been missing. You see, we make use of these bloodlines to seal powerful entities and forbidden things here and there, but does that not mean that there's a great power in these bloodlines? One that I didn't even know of until it was basically worthless. For its intended purpose, anyway. So I've been searching for them and partaking of them. Every time I find the new one, I don't need to kill anyone, I just need a small sip to enrich my own bloodline with theirs. And all these scattered pieces formed a greater whole. Oh, don't worry, I'm not some blood-crazed vampire. Far from it, I'm very mentally sound and peaceful. You see, I'd just like to relieve all these people of their duty. I myself was once bound to it, and, well, upon being released while they were so unprepared by a person who would not take responsibility afterwards, they're all but gone. You'd be amazed what else is trapped in this world. I'm going to free everything that's been locked up or buried. I'm going to decide if I keep it or destroy it, but one way or another, there will be no need for these clans like mine any longer. Sure, there might be some collateral, but I'll take care of this myself. I'm quite able now, you see. And forced freedom might seem a little cruel to the current generation, but the following ones will enjoy a bit more leisure and less constrictions for it. They'll thank me eventually. I'll break these vicious cycles of sealing my way. In the meantime, do take care of my friend. It seems we've stopped seeing eye to eye a while ago. And then he leaves again, probably to resume his work.
Alright. As you leave your longtime friend, Petrov, in the care of whoever is at the villa at the time. Although, to be fair, Petrov is pretty well capable of taking care of himself, especially after having traveled with you for so long.
Indeed.
Alright. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, he's kept pudding with him, but he's quite the large cube now. Very, very large.
He just keeps getting bigger.
But apart from that, not really.
Alright. I'm trying to remember if there were any loose threads that I needed to finish up.
I
far as you
believe
were concerned.
someone was, well, not for me, but I don't know. Maybe some of the original clan will try to reach out to him because there's scattered remains at best. But I believe Dusty's conclusion is a natural one.
Fair enough.
If people would want to stop him, though, they may have to fight him to death.
I don't think Yark cares as long as you come stop by for every once in a while.
Unfortunately, he does not.
I don't believe he needs to eat anymore.
Mark's body.
My boy is so
Oh,
grown
right.
up.
That's cheap.
I mean, you can come fight me if you want.
Yeah, no. I don't think anyone in this party would stop him, but...
Well, no, I'm just saying is that I had some plans for some of the shards of rectal cache.
Oh, he might find some of those. I don't know. Maybe. If
Yeah.
there's other sealed pieces
So-
somewhere.
Yeah.
So you could come
You
at
would probably
come at me
find
if you
at
want.
least. You'd probably find at least 2 or 3 more.
Oh, neat. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I mean, you'd start finding little pieces and shards. At least the ones that are stored in this realm. Various shards of the overlords.
Yeah.
I find it-
Belashara, Raktul Kesh. In addition to, I believe there's like 2 or 3 more.
Dusty's
better
walking
known.
around doing his crusade of freedom. Doing his-
Will I do some of that when I find some of my dungeon delving too? We can just all together collect a huge puzzle piece of demigods. Huge puzzle, just bring them all together.
I just got on a weekend project. Let's put together this overlord and fight him.
Yeah, I
got
mean,
all right, I've got Rectal Cash. I'll trade you for your 2. I don't remember what that one's called.
We got the Velashara. Hold on.
I mean,
There's a bunch of them.
if he just runs out of hidden, like, sealed things, yeah, maybe. It's like, wow, I've freed them all. I didn't think I'd do that in my lifetime. You know what? I've lived a lot longer than I thought I would. Interesting. Are these extending my life? Wow, neat. What a perk. Are these
Hey,
secret bloodlines making me live longer? Am I immortal?
We got
What's this?
we got Belashira. We got Dyrn, Avash, Kjerdsen.
Oh, is that a golden?
Orlask,
Is that a golden?
Alara.
Is that a golden Avash shard? Oh, I'll trade you. You gotta trade me. Never seen that color before.
I just realized there's a typo in the Eberron book.
That's always fun to find.
Oh, it's fantastic. Oh, it's a good one too. It where was it? Avash, the Twister of Roots, devotes its attention to plants. Avash is said to be the source of sham bling mounds. There's space between them.
Sham
Sham bling.
I noticed that with a lot of text documents online in particular. Sometimes.
Now this is an official PDF.
They're just
Yeah,
It's
mounds.
got printed.
Yeah, that's what I mean. A PDF in online format. There tends to be fuck ups. It happened with some of the Lancer PDFs as well.
Sham bling mounds. That means they're
Mhm.
mounds with fake gold
Lots of-
jewelry.
Yeah. So yeah, every so often you all kind of get together. Actually, we'll come back to that at the end of it all. I think next up is going to be Sinnoh.
Uh-oh.
What does Sinnoh's future look like?
Sinnoh doesn't really ever give up his bounty hunting, but now it's kind of been turned to take much larger bounties, you know, taking out large, groups of gnolls or orcs or whatever may be causing problems to a village. Generally doing his best to stop future incidents like his village went through with the tyrant, or he became the Baron, right? I forget what you
Yeah, that
renamed.
was
Yeah.
Why don't you mentor some people? You've got the reputation now.
You could start your own hunters guild.
Yeah,
You know, I didn't think about that, but yes, he will definitely do that.
you got to think Sammy big. Like it's pretty certain that Shard would have rewarded you handsomely for saving the world. Heck, like most countries would have.
However, he would not have done it in Sharn. He would go off back to his home and done it there.
Yeah, that's good. Revive tourism in your village /
Yes.
traveling.
He is going to set up a druid grove. Basically, several of them over the years in a big ring around the village. Lots of guardians, lots of protection, lots of tranquility and such.
All right. Is there a special theme to all of them that kind of ties them all together? As far as, you know, you walk into it and you look around and you say, "Yeah, I recognize this style."
Wolf statues made of twisted wood all over the place.
Or the various guardians that seem to patrol the woods are all grayish wolves.
Yes. They are all
Alright.
grayish wolves. Eventually, he would start up. I like the idea of the Hunter Guild, the Bounty Hunting Guild. Started up in his home village, and generally just make sure people are safe. A lot of his money that he spends, he would spend several years there getting things set up, and then kind of just start vanishing for months at a time, come back for about a month, then vanish again for a few months, always tracking down another bounty, dealing with another problem somewhere.
Taking down entire orc tribes, cruel dictators, entire mafia groups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're level
That kind of
20 after all. And while some of that...
he becomes kind of like All Might, where when he shows up, the village are like, "Oh fuck, get out!"
Except less of an All Might personality, more of a Razorhead personality.
Mhm.
But yeah, over the years, some of that power does kind of fade away, but it's more than made up for with just the pure experience that you have. Yeah.
How's it you run your guild?
Oh yeah.
that?
What sort of guild atmosphere do you run?
More of a one that it kind of shuns greed and focuses more on protection and helping
More on the ideals of it?
people. Yes.
I just
sort of halfway heading into the maybe sort of a temple sort of mindset where
No.
you're okay.
He does not like gods. He has had more than enough gods to last him forever.
Excuse you.
Monk temple.
Excuse you.
Safanar, Rosalind, you are more than enough god for all of us to have to look for anything else godlike in our lives.
Anyway, I was gonna make a joke. So you know how Zim's like making a guild, yet he's still gonna be mostly like away because he'll be doing shit himself. He's he's the guild leader for Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
He's never actually around for the guild. There's always like a sub master that's taking, because he's always out in the field doing shit.
Yeah, he handles things himself most often, and
The big stuff at least.
the big
Okay,
stuff.
he's actually useless to the guild itself, but
I mean, he does train every now and then. He did. I mean, like I said, he started with a few years getting it all set up. So it would basically be he trained people to then train for him.
Yeah, he trained the teachers basically.
Yeah.
And of course, using your newfound druidic powers, you had to put everything together.
Yeah, that was the easy part. You know,
Oh.
don't even need to buy any any construction resources or anything. He just made it
Not just
grow.
Well,
Yeah.
Earth wall plus permanence.
There you go.
You know, if we join, do we get our own spirit wolf?
Do what?
If we join your guild, do we get our own spirit wolf?
Sure.
Sim actually,
DeSoto finds himself a lovely little lady, and they both have lots of puppies that go out to the various teachers, and then it expands
oh my, you've
from
invented
there.
Palamutes. You've invented Palamute.
They grow big enough to ride.
But Sinel, your name grows to be a symbol of protection amongst all of the various small village hamlets in the greater Valinor area, as well as a omen of bad luck and doom amongst the bandits that somehow still cling to existence within your realm. It's impossible to get them all out, but I
Yeah,
think you do a fantastic job.
Probably don't last very long.
you can't ever get rid of everything, but we have a foundation to start working on that. And
Watch me try.
it would expand beyond just, you know, his village and Valinor and such. He would people would be sent all over the place. Every single trainee that comes through, he does make sure that as a graduation, he grows them a bow.
Ooh.
You know, druidic magic
Cool.
bringing out their own bow for them. Probably finds the
pretty cool.
inventor for the load bow and gets some more of those made.
It would turn out, unfortunately, that the inventor died about 60 years prior.
Well,
But
he does
He
have
managed to get a hold of the plans.
I mean,
And
he
you
had that
have-
book with all the plans and everything in there, so yeah, reverse engineering shouldn't be too hard.
And you do know someone who's pretty good with magical technology.
Yeah, I do know somebody that's very good at making magical things blow up.
I'm
Sometimes on purpose.
now
Power
I'm
Stone?
not meaning to criticize something, but would it be more fitting to have the trainees grow the bow themselves?
You know, I like that.
There you go.
Just
I
enough
like that a
druidic
lot.
magic teaching.
Power
Can't be that
Stone,
complicated.
the dragon scale armor, the shopkeeper grudgingly lets Sinel keep it.
Yeah, he feared the retribution should he have repossessed it.
Let's be honest, the city probably paid him like at least 75% of the cost.
Oh yeah, and as far as advertising and word of mouth goes, that his shop made that armor, priceless. I mean, it probably has a price. There's an advertising deal somewhere there, but it works out, and he does very well.
I'm guessing that after a while, you'd run out of bounties and you just start doing like odd jobs, and your guild will just start helping people in other ways too, right?
Yes, they basically take on almost any job. Honestly, a lot similar to like wizard guilds, where they might get requests for somebody to help sort a library or something like that. Those ones obviously go to the low tier people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's made state alchemists.
State druids, non-state druids, because you're.
Yeah.
State druids.
he definitely.
Instead of a silver pocket watch, you just give him like a silver twig.
No, it's the bow.
Yeah, the bow.
Yeah, they get the bow after they're finished the initiate stage.
And it's especially perfect because if you manage to steal it, it'll just wither and die.
Yes.
I want Sinel and an eye patch now.
grizzled
Why?
sentinel with an eye patch and like a big scar.
And like a little bit of gray fur on his muzzle.
Ooh, that's. I mean, that would probably start to show up in all of you, including Dusty, even though you don't suffer the effects of it.
Also, because like Bradley was legit my favorite character in Full Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist.
Mustang's the best. He's the coolest.
Mustang is really cool.
You know what a Mustang is, right?
Was it the horse or the car?
No, even better.
A
It's
character.
it's an enlisted soldier who has been promoted enough to become an actual commissioned officer. That's what a Mustang is. Instead of being basically pulled out of college and commissioned as an officer, you work your way up, and thus being a Mustang is it's a pretty good thing among the enlisted, at least.
Hey,
You can relate to him.
isn't that exactly what he did in the show?
I believe so.
Because
Wow.
remember, he was adopted. He was adopted by the guy that taught him fire alchemy.
I think my favorite alchemist from that would be Armstrong.
Oh, of course.
Which one?
The
all of them.
big,
Anyways,
absolutely
Alex-
fabulous.
Okay, so
one.
everybody, let's get back to it. We still got 2 people to go.
Oh, Creighton, you mean this one?
Oh no.
Edward, no. Daddy,
Turn that off right fucking now.
That's what
It's
him-
okay.
I literally
Nova, it's okay.
cannot.
Everything is Dajobu, Nova. It's okay.
It's not
There you go.
okay.
They're all our viewers.
It's okay. It can't hurt you anymore.
Because now you turned it
Except you're going to be a player in the
Can
next
we
game, so he
play
can absolutely
now?
hurt you.
Let's just think more about Alex Lee Armstrong.
Hell yeah, let's go. So, speaking of somebody physically strong and violent, Rosalind. What do the next decade or so, what does that look like for Rosalind?
It's honestly a toss up, whichever one you're going to go to.
Yep. So we have the plan. Like, first of all is the wedding, because if we don't have the wedding, I'm literally going to drop Zerf. I'm going to make Zerf wish he died, like falling from the airship.
Oh.
I plan to have the wedding in the demi-plane, and then, unfortunately for Yark, I'm going to be taking the demi-plane away. I have a plan to.
It'll be my wedding gift.
Yeah, I have a plan. I have a plan to basically make a new faith in my image. I'm going to be trying to rehabilitate the Fury worshippers, as well as hunt down like known artifacts of her power and fragments of rectal cache. The plan would be to either destroy or keep them locked in the temple, where at least enough. If I get enough people of my faith, then those kind of things would be suppressed.
Oh. We might run into each other now and then.
Yeah, that's what I said. Because I'd be basically taking up the Fury and War slot that the Fury was kind of patron of. Basically, be like a guardian spirit of barbarian type classes as well, but also one of protection of one's family. So take that as you will.
Okay.
Oh.
As you become for the first time in a very, very, very long time, an emerging overlord.
Yep.
Although, in name only. As your mannerisms, as far as they are right now, are much different. As you start to gain a small but fervent following. You're even in far off places. Slowly, your name is starting to spread. Your followers are passionate about everything they do, especially in far off worship, as these almost godly sensations start to make themselves known. These feelings of far off opinions being known, prayers being made to you. You don't really know what they're saying yet, but you can't help but feel that more and more people are urging for your aid. You're not sure how to answer those just yet, but you're getting there.
That's fine. Like it's mostly because if I can get enough people together, that increases the chances of also finding like those hidden shards and those dangerous artifacts and like the Fury worshippers and stuff like that, and either bringing them in or bringing them to justice, depending on how they react. Because the last thing we want is for like some lunatic to go and like re-release the Fury somehow. But that's a primary directive, with Zerf obviously taking up the head priest slot. But the whatever temple or building I managed to get will be there'll be a door in the a private door that will lead to the demiplane, which will be Rosalind's main place of residence when she's not out searching.
All right. And you said the demiplane was going to be used a little bit to capture and tame some of the shards that you'd come in contact with?
Yep.
All
because
right.
it's relatively less risky than like, you know, fucking brawling rectal cache, atomic dropping rectal cache in the middle of a city.
Yeah, that's where you and Dusty differ.
Because you're damn right I'm gonna be doing wrestling moves on him at some point.
At some point, you guys would have spent the time and effort it takes to at least try and move some of the various inhabitants of the villa out. Is there anywhere you would like to place the house in particular? Or would you like me to figure that out?
I was thinking somewhere like around the middle, between where were we again? I'm trying to remember the two countries we were between.
You were between Thrain and Breland. You were, I believe, you were north of you were north of
Halfarel. We were originally.
Yep. That's where
yeah,
the inn was.
I'm going to go towards the where the no man's land tends to be between Thrain and Breland when they were skirmishing with each other.
All right.
That's where I'm going to put it because, you know, it's a place of a past war and history, so why not? It fits us pretty good. It's not too far from where we used to be, so people can always, you know, come visit.
All right. It's a nice central location, and I'd say maybe a 10-minute walk gets you to the deep, cold, and clear Lake Bry. I'd say you would have been kind of deep in the woods there, a little bit secluded while still within an arm's reach of a major trade line.
Yep.
All right. Where would the temple itself be? Or the temple itself would be there, and the house would be kind of
the house would be
nearby-ish.
accessible. The house would be accessible from the temple, basically. It'd be like
It'd be a road leading from like the backyard of the temple, somewhere like that.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, a slowly emerging and growing worship. Nobody's sure whether my condolences to the dog.
That is a cat.
Oh,
Oh,
It sounded more like a cat.
the sneezing cat,
Yes.
almost sounded like a hairball though.
something like that. But nobody is really sure where you belong on the sort of god worship thing. You're clearly not a sovereign. You might be, but you're not, because you're a person and nobody can really do that. Plus,
And also, my hands are way too bloody to be a sovereign.
that's true. I mean, plenty of sovereigns exist for war, but who knows? And you're not evil enough to be one of the Dark Six either.
Well, one of the Dark Six is missing now.
Could be something entirely
Here's the
new.
thing. Fury, there's still a handful of worshippers of the Fury who still get powers from her.
Ah, never mind.
part of the reason why I'm trying to clear them up, because the last thing we need is like an avatar of the Fury to appear and try and free her main body from that scroll.
I mean, as it turns out, the Fury herself wasn't who she said she was.
Oh yeah.
The Fury, at least the one you fought, was a lesser-known overlord masquerading to be the actual Fury in order to gain power and to gain followers, which is what Zerth was essentially under the service of.
Lies.
Actually, makes sense why they would want the fragments of Ractal Cache though, because as an overlord, that would make them strong.
Yeah, and we also got a few hints that whatever Zerth was serving wasn't actually a deity.
Mm-hmm.
Still, extremely powerful, but not a god in itself.
Yeah.
Regardless, that's sort of where you're headed, Rosalind.
Oh, it's like a Talos situation.
Yeah, it's sort of like that. People are unsure whether or not at what point you became an overlord. If you're an overlord yet, nobody knows. Also, the quartz crystal on your back that had kind of formed out into a little spiky ridge by the time you fought the Fury in quotation marks.
Am I Godzilla then?
It has grown out to a full-on spiky, spiny back.
You are Godzilla.
Okay. Just warn me.
It's getting
Warn
a nice
me when I
Godzilla
start.
look.
Warn me when I start spitting out atomic breath.
Oh, don't worry.
I would like to.
You always
give me a-
have.
Give me a performance check real quick.
I would like to quickly put out there, if you guys have questions for the group or Dova or anything, PM them to me on Discord, or be ready to join voice. After we've gone through everybody, we're going to do a little Q&A here. Originally, it wasn't going to be on stream, but now it will be, so,
Kraden says, God-Zilla.
Actually, wouldn't it be funny if I started growing as well? Actually, Godzilla. Freaking squirrel mutated by like a fragment of a demon overlord.
Atomic walnuts.
But yeah, I think we'll finish it up with someone who is very important to Rosalind, that being Zerth.
I kept the wedding short and sweet because I thought Zerth would want to go more into it with his epilogue.
Oh,
that's why.
Real quick, your whole temple thing. I made sure that there's the door in your demi plane that's permanently linked to my original tavern. Oh yeah, and members, all of our members are allowed free of charge admission, like meals and room and board at any of my establishments.
Sort of measures do you keep in place to prevent fraud? I mean, you can't be everywhere at once. So your employees will have to recognize and try to figure out if that's the real Sinel or not. Did you just like put pictures up or little sculptures?
You know what?
Or what about a magic wristband?
I was about to say, I'm really smart with technology.
You could give them like a holographic business card. I mean,
Exactly.
you've probably got some contacts within the House of Marking.
Oh yeah, just an invisible mark on like the back of the wrist or something.
Ooh, that's not bad. Like a holographic tattoo.
Exactly.
All right.
Although what will befall anybody who tries to claim to be Rosalind?
Yeah.
Because that shit's not going to last long.
That's a little bit on a different level than trying to impersonate anyone else.
You do get you probably would get at least one occurrence where a group of 6 people comes in cosplay or in costumes, not cosplay, costumes, trying to get a free meal by pretending to be the group.
Flying elbow drop.
Yeah, in which case you take a picture, post it on
Must-
the wall, and tell them to go home.
They must be confident if they think they can imitate this group.
Exactly. Although, anyone who's seen One Piece,
Yes.
yes,
With
okay, you
time
know
skip.
what I'm talking about. Essentially, this exact same thing happened when the pirates disappeared for a few years, but they were all like really hideous and like extremely awful imitations of what they think they look like.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happens.
Sorry, but I'm just expecting a wanted poster to go up about Ray sometime, and it's horribly drawn, like the one that was about Sanji.
I will. I'll get into what Inun's been doing eventually. But Zerth, I believe you had something interesting.
Yes. Well, the wedding. It was a beautiful, magnificent wedding. Mainly because he truly and deeply loves his god wife Rosalind, and partly fears that he will be smooted into the next millennium.
Oh, trust me, I was going to trap you in the bar for like at least a month if you didn't get the wedding on.
Invited everybody, had a nice.
Sinnoh will provide freshly grown vine arch for the wedding arch and flowers going off it and stuff.
Very nice.
Oh yeah. He would yeah, Zerf's just kind of being like essentially an ordained minister and cleric. He makes like the most epic wedding ever, and the reception he would have at Yark's tavern.
Perfect.
Banquet throw.
Look at that nat 20 dove.
Is that to
All
throw
right.
him in the ball? Is that to
That's the bouquet throw.
I think
I
the
will
bouquet
need-
is. I think the bouquet is more of a lethal object at that velocity.
Yeah, I will need a dexterity check for anyone attending to catch it, which
I
you
mean,
all
I'm
received
pretty
invitations.
sure Dusty was not gone by this point, so
No. Also, you have deflect projectiles. Hold on.
no,
What's
no,
your
no.
strength modifier, Rosalind?
+7.
+7.
I have deflect missiles,
By the
which
way,
I can
Nova,
use to catch and then throw back, which would be a wonderful prank. Which
How?
would be a
What's the damage you can reduce by that?
Let's
It's your
see.
monk level plus something. Okay, so that would
It's my,
definitely
it's my
catch
monk
it
level plus a D10.
because it's 1 an improvised weapon. 2,
Oh no,
it's a
hold on.
freaking bouquet of flowers, so it's not going to
Also,
be doing much
No,
damage.
hold on. It's more than that. It's a D10 plus my dexterity modifier plus my monk level.
All right,
so it would have to do more than 26 damage.
So 1, you know for a fact you could catch it if you put in an ounce of effort. Do you go to catch it?
Of course.
All right.
Damn,
As
I was
you guys
hoping that somebody would at least get a flower in the eye.
You guys line up behind
I
it.
am your boy. Unfortunately,
You guys like line up. You're kind of ready. It catches some of you by surprise as you're like, oh god, oh right, this is a thing.
fuck.
As you're lining up to catch it. Dusty swoops in with his flying and
Cheating.
effortlessly grabs it.
Wait, what does this mean again?
I don't know, but I would have caught it if he would let me if Rob would let me use my ring of telekinesis.
Attend a different wedding.
You just grab him with the ring in midair and bring him down.
No, I said Rosin would have let me. I would have got it if Rosin let me use the ring of telekinesis. Like he's forbidden from using it to catch the bouquet.
Ah.
Also, incidentally, it's not like a traditional white dress kind of thing. It's more like we'll say it's more like tying the knot kind of wedding, with fabric around each of the wrists, and Rosalind's wearing ceremonial armor.
Aw. And Zerth's wearing ceremonial armor, or would he be wearing his suit?
Up to him.
He would
But
probably...
Rosalind found the whole wedding dress practice ridiculous and decided to do it more traditionally.
Yeah, he'd be rocking that suit. He loves that
Alright.
suit.
It looks extremely sharp.
Oh yeah. He's only worn it 3 times in his life.
Thank you for coming to the wedding rehearsal. As you know, gentlemen will be in tuxedos and women will be in battle skirts.
And also, not to mention, right? Like, have you ever tried fitting a wedding dress around like freaking crystal spikes on your back?
It could be a really low cut back.
Hold on. Saphinaria, have you ever tried that?
There will be no comment.
I don't think any of us have big spikes coming out of our back. I don't think we can testify to how easy it might be with big spikes. I don't have big spikes in my back yet.
Wait till you get older.
There's the optimism I'm looking for.
Damn, I better deactivate that dagger trap.
So, wedding goes very well. All your friends show up. Even Stone of Power, he shows up as well, gives his kind regards, especially at the reception, which is absolutely insane because the Dusty
that
shots
guard
get
captain
brought
is
out.
invited, by the way, Dub.
Sorry?
The guard captain.
Oh, the guard captain?
Yeah,
Heck
the one that commanded us to teleport up to the ship.
The first thing she does, she offers an apology for how dumb that plan was, but then immediately retracts it once she says it worked. But
You get the flurry of blows out.
I pushed giant
flurry of
into-
blows out.
I pushed the giant into vents. Two
Alright,
of them.
The rule is you have to save the stunning strike shot for last.
What the stunning strike is like a prairie fire or something like that, just like hot sauce and tequila.
Mm.
It just that one makes you take a few steps back for sure. All right.
Rosalind has a barrel.
The hangover for you all lasts a few days.
real quick.
Well, this is part of the course, right? Like, every single time we've been in a bar scene, Rosalind has been fine, and Zerf has been fucking drunk off his ass.
Yep.
Mother, I challenge you. This will be the first of many.
Do you remember the hit on Siddle, when fucking Zerf and a couple of others collapsed, and it was just me and Inoon that were like actually conscious, and then Inoon got freaking assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember that.
Yeah, Zerf.
It was.
I remember that. The with the gas.
Yeah, you should remember it because I literally glory killed like 2 guys.
I remember that. Yeah, for sure. So-
I think I was playing Doom Eternal at the time, so I was like, yeah, shit,
That
fuck
was-
it, I'm gonna rip
that
this
was out
person
at
in
that
half.
point.
I do want to point out the wedding arch on the side where Zerth is supposed to stand would have a thorn that was conveniently too long and would constantly poke Zerth in the rear.
Oh, you.
As that passes, Rosalind, him being drank under the table would probably be one of the first signs of his accelerated aging. And Zerth, you can go in a bit more detail about that.
Over the next few years, you would see a rapid decline in Zerth's appearance. His greenish scales would fade and become pale. The fire-like embers along his scales would almost be like a dull glow. He would actually go blind in his actual real eye. He would become almost frail and anorexic as years and years and centuries just catch up to him rapidly. As towards the end, he would probably take you over to Lake Bree,
Something like that.
like an old husk of himself, just slow and feeble. As he just kind of sits down on the ground and he just goes to he just looks to his wife and goes, it's been a long, wonderful life, especially these last decade or so. Though I guess everything does catch up in the end.
Rosalind?
Yeah. I'm just not really saying anything right now.
You remember the battle with the what's his name? Fig. No. What? The metal man of the sky.
You mean Sigma?
Yes, that. Yeah. You remember when we all kind of fought gravity and lost? And woke up in the hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I kinda made a deal to offer my remaining years to save everyone on that. And I'm surprised I was still around. But, no, it's time to cash that check. So, I will do my best to return. Just kinda.
You don't need to worry about that. Don't forget that you're mine, even after death.
He like gently rubs your hand and you can feel it's just icy cold. It's like always. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I'll find you even if I have to wade through Delura myself.
I'll be waiting. As he just kind of lays into you. then passes away.
I didn't.
All right. A little bit of time passes as it's a dreary, sort of rainy day over the plains of Breland and on the shores of Lake Bry. The funeral service itself it starts off as a quiet affair, kind of only amongst you all, being called in through various corners of your adventures. But word eventually gets out, and sooner or later you have a crowd of people coming in from all around the continent, wishing to show their respect. The day drags on, people leaving gifts and offerings. Those of you who, it's up to you whether or not you cry and how much you do, but the day kind of drags on. You're feeling tired, and it seems that everyone you've ever worked with shows up at some point, kind of making their way through the crowd and paying their respects before you spot Zerth casually making his way through the crowd, looking much, much younger and in a little bit shimmery. As people start to recognize them, some of them honestly seem disappointed that they came all this way only for Zerth to basically just come back to life. And before long, you find yourself a nice bit of solitude.
Well, I was gonna say, Dusty on his crusade would probably have started going a little mad, but his father's funeral sort of brought him back.
First thing I'm gonna do is yank him down by the neck.
Ugh. See, I told you, Cayman always keeps his promises.
Kiss me, you stupid love.
Oh, he does.
All right.
How are you going
Siddle,
to...
meanwhile, is over at the body like, well, I guess she's getting some boots instead of a fur coat.
Oh no, Surf's body's on a boat.
It's already like in the middle of the lake, and you still have to
Yeah.
light it on fire. That part hasn't happened yet.
Siddle would
Would
be
you do
more
the
than-
honors?
Siddle would be more than honored to do so.
I'll put a
I'm
hand
not
on
going
his
to
shoulder.
actually roll because I'm pretty sure that the dice would be like, and I roll a 1.
You shoot him in the butt.
Yes,
I
I
mean,
shoot
that's
his
up to you.
body
Do
in
you
the
wanna roll?
butt.
Siddle,
Yes, let's
if you
see.
fail,
Everyone does it.
well, Dusty
know
would
what?
have a lot of stunning strikes for you.
Go ahead and give me an attack roll. I just want you to roll a d20 because if you roll anything other than a 1, you hit perfectly.
Don't set it
So
for her
I
like
had
that, Siddle.
but
Perfectly compensate for the wind and land it right on the top of the pile of kindling.
Dusty lowers his palms.
and what
I was
nobody
wanting for you to miss and have-
realizes, it is in the ass.
Nobody can see that from here.
I think Zerf can with his eye. Like with his new
Siddle
eyes.
knows. Siddle knows
Yeah.
exactly where it landed.
Yeah, Zerp actually would be able to see that far, actually.
Zerf just looks at Sinnoh and just like, I miss you too, buddy.
I really wanted you to roll a natural 1 on that and miss and have to go through the awkward phase of going like, fuck, do we have any more arrows? Shit.
I mean,
That's the way-
if he
Oh,
missed, I'd
no.
just let Surf cast Fireball.
It's like I just expected like a disappointed sigh as he readied another arrow.
Yeah. It's like time to be at the end of the guy's because you brought in a guy to a small band, a small little musical accompaniment. It's a nice little small thing. Actually, Inun probably would have brought his arcane record player in. The little sound crystals, he would have brought that in, and you timed it just as the symphony was ending, and you miss, and it's just pure silence as you get another arrow.
Basically.
Also, Siddle's probably crying because we just wasted a perfectly good body. He's like crying inside.
You mean a noon? You mean a noon?
No,
Inun, yeah.
sorry, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just like, wait, what? Why am I crying over that?
No, wait, you're crying because we wasted a perfectly good pair of boots.
Zerth would have been like, "Oh, I was going to eat that."
Luckily,
Oh,
none actually happened. And the funeral went off without a hitch.
See, he's lucky that he doesn't have ears that I can grab, and although I guess I can grab him by the snout.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. So, as it turns out, Zerth seems to have come back as well. He can't go very far. He can't get very far out of roughly earshot of Rosalind's physical position without sort of going incorporeal. He can go as far as he likes, but then he kind of starts getting a fuzzy and ghost-like.
Like a divine spirit kind of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. But it seems to work out pretty well. One last member of the party who isn't here right now, and we wish could join us for this, but Inun, you hear from him from time to time, but he keeps fairly quiet about exactly what he's been working on. He does let slip during a bit of drinking that he was the one that helped to clean up the remaining sort of traps and wards preventing Stone of Power from getting into the House Kundrak vault, which they had basically stolen the entire tower. Thankfully, most of the people inside had made it out. At least that's from what you hear. The whole heist is a bit of urban legend and is still hotly debated amongst those who don't know the facts about how it happened. The common consensus is goblins of some sort. But it's getting more complex as time goes on until now it's nowhere near the truth.
Chinese whisper.
You guys know exactly what happened. If you put in a very kind request routed to him through a spell of sending, he does come around every once and again to help out with various arcane things, such as moving many of the villa's components to the material realm, and getting them properly settled in with some help from quite a few undead construction drones, which you do hear little rumors that he seems to be making a undead army for hire. Essentially, for a fee, he'll
wage war.
use his legion to do whatever you need it to do, whether that be to sweep and clear a full dungeon while you never step a foot inside, or build a house in an hour flat,
Or vanquish your enemies.
or vanquish your enemy. Yeah, I mean that's part of it too.
I could give them back.
Just an hour.
Full house. It's like a barn raising, but it's all skeletons and a gigantic skeletal centipede made of bones.
Oh, right. Of course.
Yeah. If you don't look at it, but you look at it afterwards, it looks good. Just don't look at it while it's happening. It's a bit unsettling.
I can give the vanquishing your enemies my blessing.
a nice little ward off against some of those do-gooder paladins who,
I like to think the TV ads like build a house, clean your garage,
clean your barn.
vanquish your enemies, build an
Vanquish your- there is actually not really TV. It's more of broadcast play production. But he might spend a little money to put an advertisement there, or like a nice little newspaper ad with like a big skeletal hand saying, "You got problems? I can solve them."
Wait, you
mean that you don't have to go to the graveyard on the at the 3rd hour of the new moon each month in order to make the contract with him for his army?
Gotta send him money,
That's
man.
just too complicated. God.
Streamlining this.
He's a necromancer with things to do, man.
I know it's enough work to keep the undead army going. Like running a business and doing all that contract stuff on the side. That's a lot of work. I've just got a boilerplate contract. You fill this out, you pay gold, and I'll get him to do the work. He also does have his wizard tower that he can teleport wherever he likes.
Ain't no Forgotten Realms. This is Eberron. We're modernizing this.
Yeah, we're magical revolution. It's not industrial revolution, magical revolution. But yeah, he's going places.
Magic punk.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he stops by from time to time just to check in, looking more and more powerful every time. The fire in his tail is growing brighter with every visit.
Pointy hat grows taller.
Yep.
Longer and flowier.
More.
I don't care how tall his hat is or how glowy his tails get. I could probably still suplex him.
He can still banish you though.
He works out at the library. You can touch him.
He works out at the library.
He works out at the library. Get the picture. Someone get the I work out at the library picture.
Where do you work out at the library? He's smart. He's not tough.
God, it's good stuff. So as far as all your companions go, Coffee the Mimic always seems to be when you double check the room that you were just in, you always seem to see a bit of out of place furniture. It works just as well as it should. The chair being a little bit creaky and the hinge on a chest being a little bit squeaky, but you know for a fact that it's a mimic that's just kind of hanging out.
It's like his pet cat.
A cat who does not want to be pet.
There you go, Dova.
But wants to be in the same room as you.
No. You just have to be a little careful, and it's fine.
That's adorable. The Mary doesn't want to be pet, but he wants to be in the same room as you.
Mm-hmm.
But
and yeah, I found the picture. I sent it to Echoes of Eberron.
The Displacer Beast, I forget what the name
Carl.
of Carl
Coral.
becomes
Coral. Like the underwater plant. Or
Gotcha, like the
Curls?
blue lipstick.
creature. Underwater creature.
Coral blue number 2.
Exactly.
Okay.
Corral?
Golden Corral, delicious.
Well, I mean, if it eventually consented, it would actually be sort of like my I would try and ride Coral on my escapades on hunting down the shards and stuff like that. I would think riding a Displacer Beast into combat would be pretty terrifying.
A little bit, yeah. It's a very difficult thing to ride, and so the Displacer Beast at first has to tone down its displacing and strange kind of fuzziness to accommodate for you. But once you get used to it, you just become fearsome on it. One weakness is that it's not very good on long walks. It's not a very good long distance walker. So oftentimes
High
you
speed,
find
low
yourself,
endurance.
high speed, low endurance. Just a matter of the whole cat lineage thing.
I'm sure
Oftentimes
this.
Now I'm just imagining the Displacer Beast gets tired, so Rosalind just gets off, picks it up, and starts walking off with it.
I was actually going to get to that.
Switch places.
Yeah.
They take turns.
I mean, it's the Holy Beast, so nobody dare question.
Mhm.
Oh, I maybe because it was your favorite, I enchanted your raiment with haste.
Ooh.
Not permanent, but you can activate it for a
Your
limited amount of
displacer
time.
saddle.
Incidentally, I was actually going to say that there would be a plinth outside of Yark's inn nearby, which rests the throwable hammer of Rosalind. Because she likely would probably find a way to make her own weapons with her power,
Oh, that's true.
and
Divine stuff.
that the hammer rests there as as an artifact for ye who is worthy.
Sort of like a sword in the stone.
Yep, it's an attraction to try and get more people towards Yark's Inn.
Well, I mean,
With the
it would be better to
with the
put it
hammer.
inside the inn then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
lift the hammer. Your party eats free.
But it costs. You gotta buy a drink in order to get a chance to lift it.
Rosalind just strolls in one day, and there's just like five men with a rope trying to tug the hammer off the thing, and she just raises her hand, and it flies back to her.
Or even better, you have to have the Rosalind first.
Yeah, you have to buy the Rosalind in order to get a go at it.
Mhm.
and stay on your feet.
Well, I mean, you have to get over there first. I think that's part of the rules. You have to work on the exacts every so often just to make sure that it's challenging enough.
Sometimes someone tries to find a loophole, and I gotta adjust to fix that. You know how it is.
Exactly.
There's also a clear the dungeon. You get clear the dungeon in a certain amount of time. You get free pancakes.
Now I'm just imagining that over time, it's Rosalind's Bible winds up being just the rules on how you get a chance to try and lift her hammer.
Hey man, if that's the tome they want to, her followers want to flock to, who am I to judge?
Yeah, get you more business. But as
I mean,
far as...
it's that, and don't commit fucking mass genocide without a really, really good reason.
No genocide unless it's funny. No.
unless you really need to. Oh no,
No.
that's something else. That's
No genocide unless it's funny.
Can we put a quote down for that?
No.
But
What? Yes, we can.
The grounds, I believe, Yark, you said at the end of your last session you wanted to give a gift at a previous wedding.
Yes, at Scottsfeld. That's his name,
Irian.
right?
Yep, Irian Scottsfeld.
Irian and Lion.
Sophia,
Thank you.
Ghost Maid. Who?
Sophia Ghost Maid.
Yeah, the Ghost Maid.
Whose last name are they gonna take? Because I don't think Irian Ghost Maid sounds very good. But yes, I gave them a scroll of true resurrection to use if they want to or not. I'm not gonna force them to use it.
All right.
But I feel like it would mean something a little more if he was the one to cast it.
All right. They seem incredibly grateful of it, if a bit iffy on using it, but they head off, and about a year later or maybe a few months later is the next time you see them, just because of how busy things work out. You don't really have time to go back to the old house every so often. But you go back there, and it seems that they took you up on your offer, and looking happier than ever. After
Dead cowbies.
But the villa itself eventually hosts a much younger noise than the rest of all of you.
Ooh. Baby.
Mm-hmm.
To
As
think.
about 2 years after they get married, they have triplets.
Kittens.
She has a whole litter.
And
no.
then huh?
Oh, I was just about to go do that myself.
Cavalier?
No, throw Yark down the well. I was about to do that.
And they hated Yark.
Yeah,
so he spoke the
I
truth.
did it, and I wasn't even aware I could.
Yep,
They hated
DMs
Yark,
have
so
that
he spoke the
power.
truth. Am I your enemy now that I've spoken the truth?
That
What a
wasn't
bad
me. That
truth
wasn't
it
me.
was.
Oh no, that was me this time.
Yes.
You want to go for the pit of death? It's just 2 blocks deep.
It's also filled with D4s. Because, snapping on a D4 is literally death.
No, it's filled with Legos.
Oh, you.
D4s are worse. Those things are
I
like
would
caltrops,
I
man.
would say D4s are worse than Legos, believe it or not.
But yeah, over the years, the villa becomes the home of the triplets, Sven, Maria, and Amelie, as they all grow up in the shadow of giants, essentially. You all.
It's okay.
When they have the children, I am actually going to gift the villa to them.
Well, all right.
Congratulations, you went from gardener to homeowner. You went from...
Yeah, because it just makes sense. Like they have a growing family, whereas Dusty's on his world travels, and Surf is basically anywhere I am.
I'm on
and
a mad crusade.
Yeah, so it's like I'd rather give the house to a budding family.
Yeah, that's kind of weird because your house is basically empty at that point.
Mhm.
Yep.
And rapidly it fills with mess.
That's fine. You don't have to name one of them after me. Yark is a weird name. I understand.
They call them Carrie. Carrie. Yark backward.
I like that.
No, it's Cray.
It's Cray, but yeah, I swapped the A and the R.
Oh, no, you're Moriarty.
But yeah.
What bad news? What bad news?
Time goes on. The most important main character in this entire campaign, of course, the fire elemental, goes on to reach a new record in high temperatures when somebody accidentally drops the entire scoop in.
What are you talking about? The main character is the giant armored crab.
Actually,
I was
that's
gonna mention
very
the crab
true.
as well.
This is like the second most important one. Then you guys are somewhere around like 6 or something. Whatever, who cares? But fire elemental goes on eating fire or eating coal and wood and whatever you guys can throw in there, eggshells and bones and stuff like that.
Evidence.
No, it doesn't fit in the chute.
Oh wait, I forgot.
Initially.
Not unless you chop it
Surf's.
Yeah,
That's what Surf is
initially it
for.
doesn't fit. Okay.
I forgot Surf is for hiding the evidence.
Ah, but food just passes through him now.
No, no more train snacks.
You can
Not
still
if I
taste
for-
them just fine, but they
not-
just fall
not
out
if I
afterwards.
Not if I force him to. You better hold that in, or me help me. Instead of God help me, it's me help me.
You try as you may to track down that crab, but it only shows up when it wants to. Over however long you try to actually find him and go to him, you never manage to actually catch him. It's only when you relax for a moment and let your guard down that he kind of plucks around the corner. About once every 2 years.
He just crap walks past.
Correct. Almost taunting you with his emotionless barnacle-covered eye stalks. But he's getting more and more covered in various bits and pieces every single year.
I want to see him play
Fan
shift.
theory.
I want to see him play shift. I know he can.
He time traveled and he is the giant crab we sold.
It's his revenge. Or it's his ghost or something.
No, he said he time traveled. Like he grew up to be the one we ate. And
Oh. The super big one. Every so often you do find a little flake of that still remaining wherever you go. Whether it's in the villa itself whenever you visit, or in the inside the tavern.
I
Just
pulled
every
up
so
an
often
ice
you
stock
see-
with a crowbar. I'm satisfied.
I think that's most of the big things. About 20 years after everything's happened. Actually, we'll back up a little bit. Maybe 12 years or so after everything went down, you receive a little bit of troubling news from some of the various people you still stay in contact with, various contract givers, government officials, stuff like that. One of the people who had escaped one of the undead battle mages that had escaped the airship as it was going down had slowly and quietly been gathering force, and just recently it had been discovered that he'd allied himself with the Lord of Blades, a still growing cult of Warforged that had been drawn into the Mournlands, essentially convinced that they were the true inheritors of all the various kingdoms of Eberron. And so it seems, that it's all under control. A formidable adventuring party has started to make itself known throughout the Mror holds, as well as sort of down into Valinar. And Sinel, you probably would have had an encounter with them as they passed through rather amicably through your warded lands. They did cause a bar fight, but you probably recognize that they're an adventuring party and nobody was seriously hurt.
Wait, were you talking about Sinel or me?
Sinel.
Because you mentioned
They
a
would have
bar
passed.
fight.
Mhm.
Well,
They
yeah,
would've
I'm
passed
sure
through-
one of your taverns is.
It was probably one of Yark's taverns.
Yeah, the one that Sinel and Yark got put into Sinel's village.
Yeah.
Which has probably become about a nice city by this point.
It's become a nice little city. They've passed through, and in your opinion, you think they might have this covered.
For the record, Any cleric that passes through the druid grove that he has set up will wind up with a thorn in their ass at some point during their journey through.
This is the law of the land.
It's just a law
I
of
don't make the
nature.
rules, I just enforce them.
Sinnoh's just like, I don't make the rules.
Listen,
But he does.
When he is 1000% the one who did it.
yeah. Fantastic.
I don't make the rules,
But,
but I do enforce them.
That's fine. If he does it to any of my clerics, then he'll suddenly find like whenever he's like trying to get something important done, there'll just be a random hammer sitting there.
A very
just blocking
heavy
him.
hammer.
Yeah, a very heavy one, just blocking him from like getting out the door or yeah.
Mild inconveniences.
It's like a rock, paper, scissors kind of thing. What's the area that your druids are in, Sinnoh?
It's in a jungle in Valinar.
So the druids of Valinor are always at a playful prank fight.
Sorry,
with the
not
cleric-
Valinar, Kabara.
Kabara. All right, the druids of Kabara are always at a playful odds with the clerics of Roslyn.
Yeah, exactly.
Like like a gaggle of them will show up into like in a Rosalind temple, and just like knock over a brazier and then run away giggling.
Exactly, it's just
Oh,
constant
those
prank
little
war.
scamps. Those little scamps.
Yeah.
And the rule is you're not allowed.
That's fine. I'm pretty sure that if there's any monks in my temples, they all know the art of fucking German suplex.
Mhm. There's
No fancy mystical bullshit. It's just like straight on hardcore grapples and fucking throw.
just throw them.
That's how that relationship blossoms. Pranks
So-
and suplexes.
As time goes on, Yark, you all still keep in pretty steady contact. You know what's going on, and but everyone's kind of preoccupied with their own issues at the moment. You've scaled back the amount of sort of gamification of the whole skeletons in the basement, as they've started to get tired of it, so you kind of hold back and save it for people who actually directly ask for it instead of advertising it. But you do put out little feelers to make sure that people know that you do have a skeleton problem in your basement. Until one kind of drizzly day outside. It's fairly cold in Sharn, and business is kind of quiet. There's your few regulars in the corner. You've gathered a little bit of gray on your scales, and you're polishing some glasses when a group of 5 individuals sort of filter in, and you can see them kind of gathering at a far table, talking amongst themselves. All of them with various adventuring gear, and it takes you a moment to realize, but you realize that 3 of them are actually Sophia's kids. Triplets had all grown up,
Babies. Adventure.
and it looks like it's hard to tell exactly what they're specializing in. They're at that sort of beginner adventure where nobody really knows what they're doing yet. So they could really be anything. You do spot a spell book on one of them, and maybe a wand in a sheath on another.
They have time yet to multi-class. They have
They got time to figure it out.
They're still feeling it. I get it. It's okay.
But,
They wander too close to Yark, and he's just like, I used to be an adventurer like you, till I killed a god.
There's one amongst them is a warforged you don't recognize. He's wielding a rusty. Or it wouldn't be a rusty. It would be a very well kept but a plain sort of great axe. And in addition to what appears to be a rather tall half orc wielding 2 swords on the back, both of them looking very plain in just these plain scabbards. But after a while, one of them, after kind of shooting a few glances towards you in the bulletin board, they eventually kind of urge Maria, wearing a nice cap with a feather in it, to kind of make her way up to the counter and ask, "So what's this I hear about you having a skeleton problem? I mean, we'd be willing to fix it."
That'd be pretty great. They've been down there for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, try again, but put on an old man voice.
Dude, they've been down there as long as I can remember.
It's hard to do an old man and a kobold at the same time.
I mean, I'm actually surprised you've lived this long, I'll be honest.
Look, man, it's a hump you gotta get over.
Once
Like,
you get past it, it'll live a long time.
You either die early or you're strong enough to live for like years.
You all got various life length enhancing measures by now.
Oh, I got like cyber implants and stuff like that.
Still, though, what do you say to him? This is the first. This is like the first impression for that adventuring group. How do you get him on the right path?
Hold on, I'm being put on the spot. Give me a second.
It makes you feel important.
He stands up a little bit, says, "All right, rule number 1: don't ever take a job without a reward, without asking about the reward first.
Oh,
Rule number 2: he sets down 5 bottles of Cobalt Cola and says, remember to have fun doing it."
all right. I think that's a fantastic place to let the credits roll.
Well, before we do the credits, if you guys have questions, do come on voice or message them in the chat or to me in PM.
Well, that's going to be while the credits are rolling, of course.
I was
The
figuring
credits are rolling. You're seeing all these
I see what you mean.
dedications and a director. All the sound guys. They're all me, of course.
Director Murder Bird.
Yep. Director.
Produced by
producer,
Murder Bird.
Writer. Sound
Also,
director.
Murder Bird. Everything is Murder Bird.
Don't worry. You guys get to be in like the also thanks.
Special thanks.
I
Special
somehow
thanks. There you go. You're in the special thanks section.
somehow Sigma snuck his way in as special effects director.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of them is misspelled entirely.
Filmed on location.
In front of a live studio audience.
Many animals were harmed in the making of this production.
The studio audience.
Lots of animals. Hold on. I need to get the picture of everyone was harmed during the making of this film.
The studio audience has just been very quiet this whole time.
They're very respectful. Thank you, studio audience. I appreciate
Hello,
that.
everyone.
What's
Hello.
up, Power Stone? How are you?
How are you?
We've been waiting for
Power
you.
Stone.
We've been waiting.
All right. So I did want to point out, including this epilogue here, we started on February 5th of 2019. And including this episode, we have had 73 episodes of Echoes of Eberron, Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow.
I thought it would have been more.
Actually, no.
Yeah, we were
74.
We were 5 over the good number.
Dang
It's
it.
74 because there was one episode where something went horribly wrong and I could not upload it.
Alright, you know what that means? We gotta delete like 5 of those VODs.
We
No.
can figure
It
which
never
one's
happened.
done. Yeah.
The last 5.
Eberron never ended, guys. We never fought Sigma. We never fought the Fury.
Quick, let's do it again.
Uh,
Make it harder. You guys can lose this time.
Anyway, I think we should yield the floor to Power Stone's question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I kind of admit I don't really have any questions, but I do want to say thank you all for giving me entertainment over the past 2 years. I didn't know exactly what I was going to expect coming in. And, well, I enjoyed it so much I started freaking drawing for you guys. So, thank you for making me laugh. Thank you for making me cry. And just, make me interested in tabletop again. So yeah, thank you for introducing this to me, Kobold.
Of course, glad. And thank you so much for all the fan art. We
For
all loved
real.
it every single
Yeah.
time.
Every single time I see it in there, I'm just excited. I see the fan art little tab pop up, and I'm like,
he's back. He's back.
So thank you, Dova. Thank you, Dusty. Thank you,
Yeah, me.
Rosalind. Thank you, Zerth. Thank you, Yark. And of
You're
course,
fun to talk to.
You're thank you, Sinel, aka Zem. And I know he's not here, but also thank you, Inun. You've definitely have brought some happiness to me the past 2 years. So,
Hey Dova, did I tell you it's Power Stone that has the Dova shirt?
I think I know that, which makes me feel fantastic to know that my questionably intelligent face is somewhere else.
Actually,
you have no idea. I
there have
love that
been
shirt.
3 Dova shirts purchased. I don't know who owns the other 2, but there have been 3 of them purchased. Another fun fact, over the course of this campaign, we have gone through 3 ZGF Gaming logo changes. And 4 changes to how, the general stream design.
Was it during this one or Rooms and Reptiles that we actually named the mascot?
During this one, I believe.
Very eventful couple years.
Yeah.
I mean, as of July this year, I'll have been streaming for 5 years.
Speaking of 5 years, Dova, how long have you and I known each other specifically? Oh, you know what? I'm gonna pull up the original Reddit.
Don't you
Reddit.
dare.
I'm gonna pull up the original Reddit page where I asked for people who want to play D&D.
And I stupidly
That's
responded.
where you guys met?
Yep. I was like, dude, I want to play D&D. Who's in? And then Dova was the only one to respond for the DM position.
Really?
I mean, I met Zim in a chat. He was looking for players. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, I met Cobalt through a Cobalt channel or group I run. Met Zer through there. Dusty, you were part of the Cobalt group as well, weren't you?
No, I was just from a forum. You posted a forum and it's like, give us the information, we'll call you back.
Oh, the form. Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I meet you, Rosalind?
Riseroth 3 years ago.
Ah, yes. Riseroth brought you in.
Yep. And you regretted every minute of it. No, I'm kidding.
Creighton has a question. Last I remember hearing, and I think where I joined was in the Mournlands. I remember someone saying the Mournlands was still growing. What's going on with that?
Ah, yes, a real question.
So, I got to think about this one. It's been a long time since I've thought about this.
Spreads out from the glowing chasm, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this actually was it was an issue that was growing during all the events, but you guys have been too busy to really keep an eye on it. But Vatheron was.
I mean, I was always down for going back to the Mournlands.
Shudders.
There were reports of it crossing over the river in Karnath, almost reaching Karlakton, one of the larger cities in the province, as well as it starting to reach into the Kraken Bay towards the south, and also overtaking its border in Lake Sire. At one point, even getting close enough to Gatherhold to be able to, you can see it from the shoreline. But after killing Sigma, it started to pull back. And at this point, it's actually receded a little bit past its current borders, or the sort of historic borders. It was a very slow process, but it's maybe a half a mile inland of where it used to be, in almost all directions. But from what you've been hearing through all the various channels, it may have had something to do with that lieutenant that had escaped, and maybe some of that power was being redirected. Not quite sure. As with everything in the Mournlands, it's all kind of wibbly wobbly.
Hey, Dove, I found it.
What'd you find? Oh
Posted
God, you
it.
found it. No.
5 years. Don't worry, I blocked. Tim, you can put it on the screen if you want. I blocked out his name.
You're fading out.
Golly,
but
I remember that.
I will absolutely put that on the stream.
Ah, the memories. I just posted a Reddit post like, hey, anyone want to play D&D? And Dova was the only one to spawn for the DM position.
It's hilarious is that I literally said in the message, I PM'd you so you wouldn't get lost in all the replies. That was the only reply.
This doesn't sound like Dova at all. There's like correct punctuation and grammar all along the post.
It's just me being confident that I can't be deposed. Maybe I don't gotta prove anything.
It's true. All you gotta say is, "Hey, I'm a DM," and like you got 5 or 6 people flocking to you.
And I see no hint of the word vaguely in that post
God.
either.
I don't know. I mean, it says vast. Vast. Oh God, I heard it with that one. Vast.
Dova, I just gotta say, you are the best DM I've ever had, and these past 5 years playing D&D with you have been some of the most fun I've ever had.
Yeah, I'm not even sure I can fill your shoes.
I don't wear shoes, so
Yeah.
Your talons, then.
perfect.
I'll-
Yeah, I don't.
I'll amputate them and put them on the floor and try them on.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
you gotta get little like a bird, like little booties, bird booty.
Yes.
Slippers.
It's been amazing.
Hey, you've been fantastic. Thanks for running both Rooms and Reptiles and Echoes of Eberron for us. I just hope that you stick around for the next campaign with Rosalind running.
I can't believe Dova's really gone.
I'm still here.
It's like
I can't believe Dova's dead, guys.
So, that said,
like
I
can
will...
almost hear.
I do have to point out, I noticed that you do the same thing to Plague as you do to Vague.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Plague.
Plague.
Bag.
It was Vag and Plague.
Yeah.
I remember noticing
Vag.
that.
That was
Plague.
another word that he pronounces weirdly.
Roof.
God. A roof.
I love it though. At
The roof.
this point, it's like so signature to you that it's great.
It's almost not right when I don't hear it. It's
Exactly.
It's the other way is just incorrect.
Honestly,
I wake up every Tuesday morning and think just how vaguely Dova's going to describe things.
great. Because it's so funny because you say vague more often than anyone else I've ever heard. So instead we say it more
It's
often
vaguely comforting.
you more than anyone else.
I'm sorry.
Do
Matt.
we have any more
I
questions?
didn't mean to be rude. I didn't.
Yeah.
Creighton had another one, although I think
Yes, Creighton does have another question. What happened to the airship and the guy Dusty was going to give it to? He was going to give it to Greaves.
So
Yeah, how'd that deal go?
the airship ended up clipping a handful of towers on the way down, but crashed on the outskirts and kind of near the shoreline on a very steep cliff. You guys, it depends on whether or not you guys wanted to investigate exactly the sort of paper trail, but if you would have investigated it enough, all of the salvage rights, which had been initially sold out to a bunch of different people who had put claims on it, all of the salvage was slowly getting funneled towards all these different subsidiaries and subcontractors to a single company, which was an anagram of Greaves' name. Somewhere I've got it in my notes.
Operates with a bunch of different names.
I think it was I think it was a Green Civ LLC or something like that.
I'm guessing he's got a bunch of those rubber ducks now too.
Oh, tons. They are everywhere, and they're not going away anytime soon.
Excellent.
Show up on the streets, and you can buy one as a souvenir because
Just
they
pick
never
one,
seem to go away.
pick one up off the street. You're bound to find one.
Yeah, no, you. The people who want to sell them as souvenirs have to do a daily sweep around the whole tower just to make sure that there aren't any on the ground, which there almost always are.
You'll look one whole day, and then the next day there'll be one exactly where you looked, and you don't even know how.
Or you'll look away for too long, just a matter of minutes, and there's one. Since it is canon that if you fall from one of the higher towers, there's a chance you might fall through a little rift into the elemental plane of air. And then kind of whirl around for a bit on the back of an air elemental for a few moments before being spat back out. So the elemental plane of air has a lot of rubber ducks floating around.
Sometimes they get to
possibly replicating themselves every time they go through the portal.
There's just there's one particular tower. There's one particular tower where there's just this rubber duck perpetually falling, disappearing, and then falling again, like it's going through two portals.
I do want to point
No one
out
can catch it because of the terminal velocity.
I will say a little bit for Greaves. Greaves is a gnomish merchant who, he's not a god, but he is everywhere and every time at once, and just kind of goes around selling things. He was a character created by my dad who taught me D&D and such, and he kept Greaves in every one of his campaigns, and so now Greaves is kind of the overarching connection between all of our tabletop campaigns here. I kind of have kept him around for that. He does make an appearance in every game. Speaking of, Saf, you're going to need to make sure that happens. It's just a requirement.
Missed the arc.
So, any other questions, comments, anything else? Before we go ahead and end for the evening? And forever?
I think I want to go through a few things.
Oh, go for it.
I'm kind of proud of myself for literally having Blue show up in the very first episode in the very first scene, and then he turns out to be the last thing you fight, other than the Fury. I think that's like a separate episode.
That, oh my god.
It's like a movie, non-canon movie kind of thing.
Zerk was so much friends with him. He's like, I'm adopting this Warforged, and he's gonna be my best friend and brother.
What would have happened if I didn't die on that, or if I didn't get impaled and fall? Could I have convinced him?
I think at the moment I was thinking yes. But I think I had it planned out, so no matter sort of how much you convinced him, he'd still at least go through the motions of the battle and then later on turn on Sigma during the final fight. That's what I originally planned, and actually, you had definitely convinced him enough to sway him a little bit. But I thought it would be a little more fun if he doubled down and to kind of give you, or make you basically kill an old friend. I thought that would have been a
Having a good time, Nova.
Powerful twist.
Also, let's be honest, Nova, you really like killing us.
I do really like bringing out the powerful stuff. Yeah, that's true. So I couldn't resist having a level 20 Cavalier.
You probably also didn't expect us to actually focus Sigma in the way we did.
I planned on. I think my mistake, at least from my just purely wargaming point of view, was having Blue take so long to actually get in the fight. He should have shown up that second round. Because his main deal is blocking and making things hard to hit, and when you kept focusing on Sigma, he was already at half health before the first round even ended. You guys are an absolute freaking powerhouse.
It was Sigma took the went and focus surf.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would have happily stalled Blue for like most of the fight, but Sigma went and targeted surf, so Rosalind's priority targeting just switched.
Mm-hmm.
Creighton asks, what was that thing that Sigma and Blue were so scared of about killing all life was a mercy?
I think they were like created together to be a counter towards each other. If I'm remembering Nova's initial poem or story.
Holy
segment.
shit! I just remembered that initial series of little short vignettes I did before the series even began. That's Sigma's backstory.
Oh wow!
I don't know if I'll ever be able to find that because I don't think I wrote it down other than in the Discord chat.
So, Dova, did you hear Cobalt with that question?
What was the question?
Creighton is asking, what was Sigma and Blue so scared of that they thought that killing all life was a mercy?
I think that question enough is a good enough answer, because everything about the origins of the Mournland and everything that comes out of it in setting is supposed to be a mystery. And as far as the world is concerned right now, the continent and the canon as it is now, nobody really knows. Everything that Sigma knew that was locked inside his head is either lost now or nowhere in the public knowledge. I will say that from his own perspective, he was correct.
Believes in himself to the very end.
Mm-hmm. And that whole reason is why Blue wasn't fully converted, because he also knew. He also was told that sort of eldritch truth, or the visions of the future, impending sort of doom that Sigma knew about, and he was sort of given just enough information that he, by the time that you guys got to him, by the time that fight started, he was fully in agreement with his essentially twin brother. But to the end, he did not like what he had to do.
Didn't he make a painting of killing everyone and Dusty? Didn't he make it?
That's correct. That painting that you uncovered, the most recent one he made, was of the actual grand staircase room in which you guys fought. He
was trying to be a prophet.
He was trying to convince himself that what he had to do was necessary. That's what he was trying to do.
That too. I think he was more making that as a statement of fact of what he knew what must be done. I think maybe less convincing himself and more solidifying his own decision, which I think that's the same thing.
Oh, Creighton, I can
Creighton?
answer that one.
Yeah,
That was Dusty's dream.
it was a nightmare.
Oh, the train fun. Hell yeah.
Yes.
I miss losing that arm.
I mean, you've got all the axes and the
Hey,
medical equipment in the world.
I almost went crazy. But thankfully, Dusty kept to his promise and never drank from the blood of a living person.
It didn't affect anyone.
Very close, though. But he kept his promise.
Oh yeah.
Creighton is asking, I mean, why did that affect everyone? I don't remember if it
Shenanigans.
actually did.
Canonically, it was only Dusty's dream, but I wanted everyone to have fun in it, so they were essentially just controlling
I thought
Dusty's dream perceptions of themselves.
I thought your explanation was it was the first person who went down would have it as their dream.
I don't remember what I think I rolled the dice to see whose dream it was.
Oh.
And actually, I think it was afterwards that I decided, well, whose does it make the most sense, maybe?
Dusty's would.
Mhm.
My
him
imagination
to-
is crazy.
Exactly. For him to just rush
Makes sense
in.
hindsight.
Yeah. I think that's...
spike a
that's why I
fireball
planned
like a
that out.
volleyball. Spike.
You know what I'm disappointed at?
What's that?
None of you guys used your cool space artifacts that you brought in from that portal in the...
Oh my
tunnel
gosh!
in Lake Bry.
Yes.
I
None of you used your cool space artifacts.
Space
I know-
Space
I
artifacts?
didn't even.
Sinnoh
You
has
said it was a
six-pack of
lighter.
beer.
Didn't they get a wine
No,
bottle
I
there or
drink-
something too?
I drank a couple of my beer bottles of beer, and I'm pretty sure at one point I tried to trade away the bottle caps that I had kept.
I think that is
You know,
true.
I have a
I
question.
think I was most disappointed with Zerth, who has a literal buzzsaw.
I gifted that as a proposal gift to my wife.
He did.
And now, Dova, I will tell you this.
Okay.
I saved it because I'm like, okay, because I have no way to recharge this. I'm like, I'm going to use it and cut up a big ass fucking boss battle, and it's going to be epic. And then, like, Zerth and Roslyn started dating. I'm like, well, Zerth would technically bestow this as a wedding gift to his murderous wife, who would make much more use of it. So I had plans.
It just never came to fruition, unfortunately.
Ironically, we started multi-dimensional dating. Like we started dating the couple of sessions he freaking came over to the Monday game. That was the hilarious part.
It was like long distance relationship.
And then I followed Dusty back through when he went from the Monday game back to the Tuesday game for a cameo, and then things happened, and I ended up in the Tuesday game. But yeah, I have a question, Dilva.
Yeah, what's up?
Whatever happened to the villainous shopkeeper that I set up for Inun? That I spent like 10k influence on trying to set up a bad guy for Inun.
Oh, that guy?
Yeah.
You mean the super snooty magic item salesman?
The guy
Yep.
who wanted to give the
contract to Inun that
contract
Inun
with
Ford.
the advertising deal. He's still out there looking to gain vengeance because his good name was besmirched. He was personally insulted that he was fooled in such a way. Also, to see somebody that cheated him get onto such fortune, there's definitely a plot brewing in the background for revenge. But
I think I also gave him a sentient sword, which is a bit like Excalibur from Soul Eater.
God.
As in very annoying.
he's not forgiven that one either. Because I think it wasn't cursed. But
It's not cursed, it's just sentient.
yeah,
And
he could
very
not get rid of
annoying.
that.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
This is more back behind the scenes. If Inun stuck around to continue playing, would there been more to expand upon his backstory with the abandoned lab that they ventured into once? Or was that pretty much book closed on that?
I think I marked that as being closed, but I always kept it open, the possibility that one of his kin had also escaped.
Gotcha.
I was thinking about doing something where he would have to fight and kill him. One of the escaped kin that had been kind of mutated and almost out of control. Something like that, but I think I had that as kind of complete as far as additional things for Inun to discover. Maybe he would have come across a bit of another one of those magical audio crystals with more info about his dad's work on it.
If you think about it, everybody sort of had a arc that got closed over time.
Yeah.
Inun had the laboratory, Siddle had the Baron, Dusty had his old village and the rectal cache, and then Zerf and I kind of had the Fury, which evolved into a party.
That was definitely a thing at the end, and I had really aimed to have your two story spots be kind of intertwined, because it was going to be really hard to kind of reach back to Zerf's backstory as far as what could be done with that, and I figure might as well kind of group that together. But Yark's backstory with the
I had a dinner party.
Yark's freaking thing that ended up with a combat against an aboleth and then a massive dinner fight,
which was perfect. I thought it was like, you know what, we need something dumb and happy to offset the. Because I think this was on the tail of Dusty's story arc.
Dusty ripping himself apart, literally.
Yeah.
No.
So it was like, we need a little bit of light.
Yeah, I gave you a hell of a backstory.
Zerda,
yes,
Zerda, this is the final episode of Echoes of Eberron Dungeons and Dragons. That's why we're level 20. Creedon is asking, didn't Zerth still have like a living head on his shield?
I did, and his name was Mavis. His keywords was bork bork nom nom for him to attack.
It was like a crystalline skeleton from those insects you fought inside Inun's like little story arc dungeon.
It was a
you mounted it and got Inun to animate it.
Yes, and I had Yark help me doing it, and I wanted it to be a more big part, but Zerf doesn't really get in a lot of melee combat. And when he did, he was more healing on the party. But yeah, he actually talks to his shield every night.
And I remember the thing biting the shit out of you, and then I either hit it or intimidated it, if I remember correctly.
I think you intimidated it.
And it stopped biting me.
It's not a question, but it is a comment. Creighton says, so something I've had an idea for but never got around to doing it. I had a plan to influence a side story thing-ish that started after Dusty first lost his arm, where a shadow Dusty, that I believe he means that actually had his missing arm, would torment and get Dusty in trouble. Not that Dusty needed any help getting into trouble.
My boy is a good boy.
Or being tormented.
I'm a Cayman.
You're
right,
always free to
help getting tormented. I did that by myself. I did that.
need your help being tormented. I could do that all on my own.
Kraden is always free to throw that kind of spanner at the game that will follow this.
I've had
Yes.
ideas that I decided not to pull on.
So the next campaign is going to be Pathfinder, set in a world by of Safinar's design. She'll be taking over as DM. We're hoping everybody will continue on with the group then for the next campaign. We will have a new addition, Timmy, playing in that group, though at this point, Ray has told me he will not be returning, though I did offer him the Wednesday game, but he says that he just cannot do weekly games. He can only do every other week. But he wasn't interested in the Wednesday game.
Send Ray your love and regards, because he's so great, and we miss him.
Yes.
We do. And we will severely miss Dova if he doesn't play with us.
No pressure. Nova.
No pressure, but... Kraden says, also, someone freaking give Dusty an acting award. He has brought me to tears more than once.
Oh no, did I? Sorry, but thank you.
It was pretty good.
I am very intrigued to see what Dusty's next character is going to be, because he's not even decided that yet, and I will get my try at tormenting it.
Moblin the Goblin. What is it? No,
there was one point where I thought about kind of twisting the dagger again. I don't remember what it was. I had the opportunity to be an absolute bastard of a man, and I decided not to.
Why?
I mean, it's kind of hard for you, Dova, because you're a bird.
I was already being a bit of a bastard. I think that would have properly solidified me and earned some legitimate vitriol.
I mean, I came and got my vengeance. I mean, like...
It's very true.
I could have gone harder if you had found some method of twisting the knife.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to. There was at least one other thing that I wanted to clarify.
Oh, Gova, I got one question about the game.
Yeah.
One too, actually.
Okay.
But go ahead.
So whatever happened to that Medusa bounty hunter that went after us?
When was that?
Game 1. When we chased her across the bridge.
You mean the bridge that was actually underground in the sewers / under Sharn?
Oh.
Because that was a Medusa bounty hunter as well. Yeah, that was way into it.
That was when you guys were going down into Sharn to track down one of Sigma's death machines.
Originally, it was on the expedition, which Ray was Inun was either funding or had been hired by.
Inun had funded it.
Yeah.
That. But they probably would have rethought their approach. Plus, they probably lost at least 2 of their friends in that combat. So,
not coming back.
Yeah, it's fairly it's a good assumption that they either rethought their whole stance on their profession, or they've decided to avoid a confrontation with people powerful as you. But yeah, they knew the area very well because they basically lived there and they escaped. Which brings to mind, I remember this because we're talking about Medusas and the sort of undercommon area there. I remember you guys walking past a nightclub and me giving very uncertain descriptions of a pair of Nagas making out in an alleyway nearby.
I remember
guys-
that.
You guys could not look at it because they're all Medusas.
Do you remember the 2 buildings in the Goblin ambush?
I'm trying to remember. Is that
It was
during
right-
that same?
It was during the same area. It was before the because the Medusa was on the bridge that was like past the area, and I think she'd incited the goblins to attack us as part of the contract.
Oh, yeah, they were. I think they were hired by her. And
Yeah.
once she saw that everything was going bad, she just she bailed on it because her
Well,
whole
I'm pretty-
her whole idea
pre-
was have the goblins get hit hard and then swoop in, grab the identifying info like the head or the ears or whatever, and then get out.
If I remember correctly, one of us attacked her, which wasn't me for a change because I was actually destroying one of the buildings that the goblins was on. But one of us attacked her, and one of us tried to talk to her.
I tried talking to her. I think I knew and attacked her.
Mm-hmm. I don't
Because
remember what I.
Zerf always tried talking to anybody before he tried messing them up.
Mm-hmm. I do not remember what she said though. Unfortunately.
I can't remember. I remember like, oh, Zerf wants to go talk to her again for something, and I'm like, oh well, that will never come up again, and it never did.
Wasn't that where we first learned that Siddle had a price on his head? Wasn't like
believe
she
that
carrying
was-
it now?
Yeah, she had.
Oh yeah.
One of them had the wanted poster.
Yeah, because we found out he was actually worth a lot, and then when we went to the pub afterwards, which we got attacked again in, we were contemplating handing Siddle over, getting the money, and then killing the guy.
Yes.
So Creighton does not have another question here, but he does want to point out and remind us Dusty's 427 damage.
Yes.
Yep, that
Exactly.
was
I've
pinned.
got that written down on my notebook right here. Because it was the one I used to track down some of the combat.
Not a question, but the answer is yes.
Did you want to finish?
Sinnel, didn't you have a question?
I did.
Yes,
What's in
Siddle
my
has a question.
dwarven puzzle box?
Still have a question.
I think the dwarven puzzle box. I don't think there was anything actually in it, but you would have gotten a. I think it was a permanent investigation bonus after solving it.
Oh.
Or there was. I think I actually put a. I think no, there was a. There's a small automaton toy inside, and
It's
the,
a
and the
spirit of an
investigation
ancient pharaoh.
bonus. Yeah, it was
Spirit of an
a.
ancient pharaoh that makes you king of games.
I don't think that was it. A
Uh,
super highly compressed paper crown. Well, no, it was a tiny beetle automaton.
A glitter bomb.
That would essentially just kind of walk in circles on the tabletop, and that was about it.
Dude,
But
Jar
by
could-
solving it, you get a permanent investigation boost.
and
Tova.
instead of that beetle, you gave me a different beetle that literally burrowed its way into the forehead of DeSoda.
Oh, better yet, by the way, and I reread it, and it goes into your brain.
Oh,
Well, yeah, it burrows through the forehead into the brain.
Mm.
I would think ear would have easier access.
Yeah, but it
You'd think.
specifies brain forehead.
You're like, yeah. I think it just says head, but yeah. Yark, what were you saying?
Shoot. Oh, right. I can cast beat invisibility now. See invisibility? What's my invisible book say?
I believe
You
I had
suck.
said that it was a very low quality, smutty book.
Oh, jeez.
Well, you're like 50 years old in Cobalt years by now, so you can read it.
I'm allowed.
You would have figured it out as soon as you learned invisibility or see invisibility.
Creighton has a somewhat question. I'm rephrasing this a little bit. Is Yark going to buy out the place that had the dragon show?
No,
God,
but
the
that's
dragon show.
only
Oh,
because
God.
I've got to keep my business image clean.
Fair.
Wow, Yark actually did something clean.
I have a
I have
brief.
grown as a person, as a lizard person.
What's that,
Go
What were
Power
you gonna say,
Stone?
Power Stone?
Something I just remember. This may have been resolved, and I wasn't just paying attention. Do you remember that bar fight? Or not the bar fight, but I think afterwards you were like getting on a train and you got attacked. You were about to get on a train, and you were getting attacked as you were leaving Sharn. At the end of it, you captured someone who had transformed into liquid. Whatever happened to that guy?
Oh my God! Let me answer this.
Okay.
So I captured him in a water pitcher, thinking he was a water elemental, and it turned out he was just polymorphed into it, and he became goo in a water pitcher.
Hmm. Technically, it says you can't. I think it said you technically are reform in a space, open space nearest to you. But since he was condensed down into that small volume, I thought it would be a lot funnier to just have him reconstitute as a. It's about the same density of water inside that little container.
I thought I had a pet water elemental. I was wrong. It was mashed potatoes.
And it was just
Yeah.
a water skin's volume worth of person, and the rest of which having disappeared into the ether.
I just gotta say, when you were...
I remember that because it was Siddle's turn to get one shot by an assassin.
I gotta say,
I was
when you were...
contemplating having him reconstitute and instantly explode.
I suggested Azer's drink it. I remember.
No,
Oh,
I
and
was gonna drink it. No.
Oh, you were going to drink.
And I RKO'd that. I think I RKO'd that one guy.
You did. Broke his neck.
It's all like in the middle of a busy like train station.
Yeah. I'm surprised I let you guys get on the train after that and not go to jail.
Hey, we were assaulted first, and then we made Grandma drop something.
We were very persuasive when we talked about getting VIP tickets.
That's very true. I think. Do you guys have lifetime passes on the train?
We do
Yeah,
now.
you did give us those.
Okay.
Because we helped with the elementals. And I gotta say, when you were trying to ask your question there, Power Stone, I'm just like, you're saying how, okay, that one time that you got into a bar fight and then got onto the train and had another fight, and I'm just like,
do you have any?
That has happened
Do you
like
have any
15
idea how many
times.
trains and how many bar fights we got
You have
into?
any idea how little that narrows it down?
I was trying to make it more specific. Later.
That's like saying, "Hey, Zerf, remember that one guy that you ate? Which one?"
Do you remember that one train snack? Which one?
I'm trying.
No, you did well when you went on with it, but just at the start, I'm like,
trying-
you're gonna have to narrow it.
Desperately trying to remember if there's any big plot points that you guys. Oh yeah, no. Okay. Early on, you guys found that spell shard in the ruins of Nathir when you were kind of sniffing around.
The proto-internet thing?
Yeah. So, originally I had it set out that that there would not be. Oh, how did I fucking? What was I planning with this? In addition
Get
to
your
there
leaves
being
together.
Sigma and the actual airship, there was the actual facility that supported it. Originally, I was going to have it that once you killed Sigma, then Blue would have shown up with his airship.
Oh, round 2. Where did he get another one?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm disappointed.
What?
I never did actually manage to joust one of those guys on the motorcycles, air motorcycles.
No.
air motorcycle.
I just
That's
jumped
a
on.
regret, for sure.
I just jumped on one and tried to steer it into the airship.
Yes.
I have a wash going.
Oh, there was another thing with that
I'll keep an eye on
that
it.
strange like pre-internet thing,
Yeah. If it stops,
or the sort of internet chat thing. There was the person that Inun was actually talking to on the other end was actually a giant mainframe.
Anyway.
Because in addition to the actual airships, there was a giant support network.
It was the MCP,
MCP?
Master Control Program. You'd never watched Tron?
Fortunately not. It was I'd flavored it as sort of, or I thought of it as sort of something that didn't quite know that it was an actual AI, or an actual big sort of computer mainframe sort of thing. But it's still technically there deep inside the Mournlands. I think I had it based out in a super deep, well excavated chasm down in the glowing chasm, where sort of near the origins of the Mournlands, where it sort of happened. Although I think technically it spread from the city of Making.
We do have another question from Creighton.
Yeah.
What happened with the AI that Blue had, but you have like as a core thing now? I was
Cody.
thinking
The docent?
Yeah, the docent, Cortana.
Yeah.
I was honestly like, ooh, is Yark gonna give her to the Warforged with the kids? But then that didn't happen.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
So when we gave it to Blue, Blue was kind of like falling apart. I feel like it'd be a little weird to take like a Warforged in the cusp of his own adventure and give him a second personality.
I mean, eventually they could come back.
I could just make another Warforged.
Give it to you still defend it.
Making another Warforged that's a whole other thing.
You could make a robot.
You could try, but the Warforged themselves are the only things that can actually interface with them bad boys.
All right. Well,
Yep.
find a Warforged.
Okay.
It probably wouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, there's a few of them around. Yeah. I think Cody, the whole time,
Yeah.
Cody was being very, very quiet and cooperative to avoid being pulled, while also trying to get as much information as possible. That single message was the only thing she managed to do before getting just pulled out, basically.
Yeah.
Who pulled her out, Sigma or Blue?
That would have been Blue.
Why?
That's a great question. Because he was probably the one who best knew Cody and exactly what she can do. For that whole time, she really wasn't working against him at all, and was kind of helping him as a good automata should, or as a good docent should. But the moment that she revealed her agenda, that she was actually working against him or planning against him, just out she came.
What was her message again?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Everybody's
2
dead.
weeks. 2 weeks. The next firing will be successful. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Or this was just a test.
But she is
This
okay,
was just a
right?
test.
Yeah, she's still intact. You guys pocketed her during the airship fight. So once you find a Warforged that you want to put her in, she should wake right back up.
Everything will be hunky dory.
Mm-hmm.
Theoretically.
Yeah. Yeah, there was that thing with the connection to the mainframe, rather. I think I was gonna have that be the third boss, but then I realized, I think just going at one big boss fight is gonna be enough, rather than 3 or 4. because
Maybe
they
if we,
added the
want,
Fury onto the end.
Mhm.
if we wanted to like actually do a 2 level 20 campaign, then maybe.
Maybe.
Also,
But yeah.
New question
Creighton-
from Creighton.
Yeah.
What would have happened if they lost at 2 Sigma?
In that final battle,
Yeah.
he would have won.
End of the world.
Yeah.
End of everything alive, anyway.
Game
I
over,
guess.
man.
Alive. The Eldritch machine itself, it essentially required the how did I figure it? It was sort of a similar technology to that soul knife that Rockrock used at the end of the Rooms and Reptiles game to basically use the power of his soul to completely obliterate another and his own in the process.
R.I.P. Rockrock.
It was essentially a machine that would combine all the massed population of Sharn into pure energy, which it would use to kill all living things, down to, I believe. Well, actually, it would whether or how far down the intelligence chain it would have gone is a great question, and I think I'm going to keep it as a uncertain fact of exactly how far he would have gone. But the Warforged themselves would be affected as well, because it would go for minds and souls, rather than individual living bodies. So it would get undead as well, and basically wipe everything clean in a sort of in what he believed to be was resetting things to give things a better chance, or to spare everyone from what was coming.
Creighton also asks, what about if we lost to the Fury in the final battle?
Well,
We had contingencies against that.
Mhm.
I figure you guys. I don't think I actually planned on what would happen, because I think I knew you guys would kind of put her through the ringer, no
Yeah.
matter what.
I was prepared to for Rosalind to give up her life and her final wish to bring everybody back to finish the job. Basically, that's why I was always saving one. We ended up using it to get out instead.
Still, though, even if that would have failed, and if everything failed and you guys lost, it wouldn't have been a nice future for sure. It wouldn't have been a nice fate, since the Fury herself was basically an overlord harvesting souls from all the victims her servants had harvested. So essentially, fun, dark torture, harvesting all that emotional energy and passion and anger, until they gradually and probably mercifully died. And then after that, their souls would have stayed there for quite a long time afterwards. So a fun and happy ending, which thankfully, and I don't think there was a very large chance that would have ever happened.
I have one final question.
Yeah.
And this is another one of those things where it might have been resolved and I just wasn't paying attention. When the group foolishly decided to travel through the Mournlands, they eventually reached an abandoned lair of sorts in its depths. And one of the things that they picked up, a Yark specifically, was an invisible book. What became of that book?
No.
That just got answered.
That got answered by Yark.
Just a few minutes ago.
It was
a really shitty smart book.
Oh, I
Super low
There I go. I
quality.
was not paying attention.
I think I
Yeah,
did
we
that
can
as a
tell.
joke.
We can tell.
I was trying
Unless
to
there
like,
were multiple invisible books, which
no.
which would have been hilarious by me to think about
I was
that.
trying to do it as I was trying to play something off. I remember, like I said something, and I was trying to pretend I didn't. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm just flipping through my invisible book, and then don't like, oh, you find an invisible book.
I think yeah, I remember that now.
Kraden's got another question.
Yeah.
Sigma versus the Fury, who would win? I would say just because, the Fury would definitely win one-on-one. Sigma with all his army and everything.
Yeah. Sigma has the power of command over a lot of minions. The Fury her whole thing is based on pain and kind of suffering. So if she managed to bring all her followers in, I think it would have been a pretty even fight.
I think if Sigma took the battle to the Fury would probably win.
Well, yeah,
Mhm.
layer action, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lair actually.
Yeah, that, and she rarely comes to people herself. She only attacked us like once, and then she learned, all right, I got to be a little sneaky about this. All right.
Mhm. Don't mess with the group.
Well, that was a
Yeah.
mistake.
Because I think I used the stat block for Belashira for the Fury, because it's a very similar Overlord, and it looked pretty ridiculous. But I think I scaled up the HP by like double, and you guys still fucking shredded it. I think I did that with most of the bosses. I'm like, you know what? Here's a ridiculously large number that's like double the stat block. You guys had no fucking problem.
And we just blended right through them.
Oh, I have a question.
And then Dusty happened. And then
Are
Dusty.
any of Irian's kids werecats?
Oh, are any of the kids weird cats?
Where
It
cats?
doesn't work. It doesn't work like that.
At
we
least
don't know.
it
At least
did.
We don't know.
No,
There's
it-
Eberron.
That's true.
It generally doesn't, but yeah, it's whatever Dova decides.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think about that.
I haven't
That's the
looked
that's
at
the one thing I didn't think about.
I haven't looked at it in 5th edition, but I know in 3rd edition, if your parent is a lycanthrope, then so are you.
Mhm.
I believe in 5th edition it is literally only a curse which could be dispelled. It is unique to the person. You can only contract lycanthropy if it's spread to you via either being cursed or, accursed by it.
No,
I know-
definitely lycanthrope tribes, where like the whole all the descendants are lycanthropes as well.
3rd edition,
Because the
it
curse
was
sort of
that.
passes down.
Yeah.
Or
I'd
maybe
say since it's not a curse. Fuck. That's a great question.
We will never know. What to join
Think.
them on their adventure.
The leaves are rustling.
Okay, so the okay, here it is, the monster manual for 5th edition, Curse of Lycanthropy. A humanoid creature can be afflicted with the Curse of Lycanthropy after being wounded by a lycanthrope, or if one or both of its parents are lycanthropes. So it is passed down.
But I guess it's up to Dova whether it's guaranteed to pass down, or maybe some of them.
It
Got
does
it.
say
Others-
can be.
It'd be like a recessive
so
gene or something like that.
it can be passed down, even if just one parent is a lycanthrope. So it is still a question of whether one of them, any of them, received it or not.
I think the one male child probably would have got it, since his father had it, and the other girls wouldn't be unaffected.
It would be on that side.
It'd be on that side.
At least they're not half werecat, half ghost.
That's true. That would have been just absolutely ridiculous.
Kraden's got another question here. Does everyone still have those candies and fudge and stuff you had bought that one time? Yes.
I remember seeing fudge in somebody's inventory.
Sinel still has his cookies and cream fudge. He has eaten it a little bit here and there, but he still has it.
Jack's definitely eaten all of his.
You know what's a fun item that I never got to use,
What?
and I was keeping it quiet this entire game? The bag of devouring I had.
I remember giving you that.
I quietly bought it with a red string, and I've been feeding it my crowns the entire game.
Really?
Yes, I have. I have 3,300 crowns. It was way more.
Yeah, it was a. I gave you that that fucking bag of devouring very early on.
I kept that pet the entire game, and no one knew. It was like a kid bringing home a hamster. The parents didn't know. I wanted to use it. I was honestly, when we got attacked in the bar by those bandits, Zerf was just gonna hand him the bag because he just fed it, and I was waiting for that, a poor bandit to reach his hand in and do that. But we ended up smooting them anyway, so that didn't work.
God, Nova, how many reworks and class changes did the official
Artificer get during the whole thing?
during the campaign?
There's at least 4 different reworks.
Started with a UA, and then it got published, and then got reworked, and then there's Tasha's.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it was 4 times. You started with UA, then they published, or kind of published one in the Eberron book, and then they took it back to the UA to rework it, and now Tasha's has released with the final version. At least I think it's the final.
Hopefully, God.
And you were literally every subclass artificer that's available.
It just happened to be during the campaign where I play a dedicated artificer.
Of course.
This has been. I've had so much fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it has been great. So, any other comments, questions, concerns?
Threats.
Mad ramblings, threats.
Yep.
Especially of the death variety.
Hell yeah.
You're all going to die down here.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this adventure.
Hell
They
yeah.
were all wonderful.
I have a question.
Except Siddle.
Yes.
You staked.
Pet the bird.
Just kidding.
What? That's not a question.
Anyway.
Oh, that's not a question. That
Creighton
isn't a
says,
question.
thank you so much.
I said I'd do it anyway.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for, I guess, I don't know.
Guys,
Dova, fumble your notes or old time site.
Okay.
No, he can't do that because we need the donation goal to be completed for that.
I thought it was going to be for something else.
Guys, I pet Dova and he didn't bite me this time. Dreams do come true.
All right, well, here's a
I'm gonna bite
question.
you on
What
the
would
third
you
time.
have what would you have done if this donation goal got completed?
I believe, actually, I think you get it no matter what. It is a one last hurrah for the whole party, as that adventuring group who went into the Mournlands to stop it failed, and thus it seems again you've got another possibly. It's probably not world ending, but it's a big growing catastrophe that seems only you guys are in the position to stop.
Level 20. We're level 20
hear-
and man still sends a chill down all of our spines.
Yeah.
I hear earthquake bombs are all the rage now.
I'll pack snacks.
Yes, more train snacks.
I think that was going to be it. You guys striding into battle.
Got all the
For,
paper bags. I've got all the paper bags. I got my name. I hand one to Rosalind. I hand one to Zerth. But Zerth is huge and just dripping blood.
I'm gonna say none of us really coordinated or anything, so I'm surprised I got one that sort of worked with one of my parents. But I was also going to say, if Zerth hadn't died and sort of like brought Dusty back to at least semi-reality, he was going to spiral down like
That's what a good parent does.
real quick, to the point like where if you like stand in his way and say like, Dusty, why are you doing this? He was going to scream, I'm evil!
Creighton
boy,
does have
don't
one more question. Does Santa Lich still come around?
Of course.
Did Santa Lich come around in this?
It wasn't Santa Lich. It was
We
that
found
was
his
when we
bag.
fought what's his face, the Blades dude.
Oh,
Ratchelcash. That was the day we fought Ratchelcash.
Although me and Santa Lich have tea once a year
okay,
over
Zerth nearly died.
over a game of billiards.
I serve the tea because I have no choice.
Hey, Santa Lich is always welcome in my temple.
True.
I told you not to buy Yarka brand tea.
All right. I think this is where we're going to end the final session of Echoes of Eberron then.
What a
Thank
session
you.
it was.
Huh?
I said, what a session it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all so much for joining us through this journey over the last 2 years. It's so very much because of your coming by and supporting the channel that we've been able to pull this off. So thank you, everyone, for watching, for donating, for subscribing, being patrons, etc. It is thanks to you, all of you. Dova, thank you so much for running this awesome campaign and the Rooms and Reptiles one. So it's going to be a little bit before we start the next campaign. Next week we will be having our session 0. There will be no stream, but if you are a subscriber or patron, you are more than welcome to come quietly join us on voice to listen in while we're doing it. For next week, and then we will take a week off and start officially on whatever day that is the following week, the 11th.
May 11th.
May 11th. So do make sure you come by to join us for Darkening Skylands Pathfinder. Thank you for joining for Echoes of Eberron Dungeons and Dragons, and I bid you all the most fondest adieu.
Bye-bye!
Bye.
Bye-bye!
God,
We awesome.
I couldn't
Hey,
stay.
we had to have the sand off, okay? No.
Couldn't
Yeah,
have
it's-
ended any other way.
Yeah, we
Oh.
really couldn't have. Well, we
No.
could have had, Ray here doing Mickey and Meatwad going back and forth again.
Oh god, I forgot how good his Meatwad was too.
It's just like whenever the topic of Kingdom Hearts comes up with Sim, I always have to tell him to open his heart.
Come, open your heart.
Kalima. Kalima. Oh no, wrong opening.
No, Dusty, no.
All right.
You're not too old that I can't suplex you across the fucking borderland.
I mean, you can, but I promise I'll fight back.
Only way to travel.
All right, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow for more streaming. But for now, have a great night, and thanks for joining again.
Good night,
Everyone,
everyone.
thanks for coming.